hey, hey. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. All right. Beautiful, beautiful dreamer. Oh, excellent. No one's here. Let me get out of here. Go get my snacks. Come on like this. Mashed potatoes. Shake it, baby. Do the alligator. Shake it, baby. Like a little sister. Shake it, baby. Okay, cool. While I'm waiting for people to get in here, I think what I'll do is just get some things ready to talk about. No, we're not installing that now. Don't know why we're doing that. Okay. Let's start here. What chapter? What chapter? Nope, not that one. Nope, not that one. Maybe I didn't take notes. Did I not take any notes today, bro? Come on, man. I guess I didn't. I guess I didn't, bro. Craziness. Yo. How we doing, y'all? We got Lena Ursa in the chat. Raggedy red, raggedy red, raggedy red. Try saying that 7 times fast. And Kino, of course. How you guys doing? Sorry for being late. And sorry for ending stream so abruptly yesterday. I had to take care of some things. It was my wife's fault. But don't let her know that. Is what it is. But we here. We back. This was supposed to be yesterday's live, but I'll do it today. No problems, no issues. I just wanted to find some things before we get started. Not this. Where does it happen? Oh, no, it's in my phone. I'm dumb. It's in my phone. That's what I was doing all day. Oh, wait, no, it might not actually be in my phone, but we'll see. Where's it? Chapter 2. No, 260 is this one. I'll be using that for later, though. Not this one. Chapter 76. It's 76. Nope, not 76. Where are all my Naruto tabs? What is actually going on here? Okay. 551. Oh yeah, it's okay. I'll do it as we're going along. It's fine. No big deal. Apparently, I'm not really prepared as much as I wanted to be, at least. Okay. So, as you all know, recently had a discussion with A1 Seb's Requiem. Shout out to Seb, by the way. Again, great conversation. I thought it went really, really well. I had fun doing it. He was extremely cordial and respectful, and he's set the parameter for that community. Seb has set he set the parameter for how I expect Naruto scalers to conduct themselves. Anything less than that, we don't need to be speaking. He ain't call me out my name. I ain't call him out his name. He didn't place excessive burdens, which he could have did, which I also could have did. But I felt like we were kind of figuring out what was going, kind of how we both felt about the scaling and stuff like that. But yeah, overall good conversation. That being said, after reviewing it, because I've watched it maybe twice now. I have a lot of mental notes that should come up as I'm re-listening. Self-critiques about myself, number one, because boy oh boy, that conversation was going a lot of places, and I wasn't really doing the best job of holding it down to a certain area. But then again, when I listened to it, some of the conversations needed to go in that area as well. So you can't really have a full conversation about Sakura versus the Akatsuki without covering some of the ground that we touched on. You can't really have that full conversation unless you go into some of those areas. Even still, when we get into one area, it's probably best we complete the thought on that entire area and then we move on. If it's necessary to bring up something, sure, fine. But for the most part, no. I think next time I'm going to need to control exactly how the conversation flows and goes. I'm going to need to control that from the get-go. Because there are even instances in the conversation where I brought up, I think there's one specifically where I bring up three good points. And he was distracted. I don't know what he was doing. He was distracted. And while he's distracted, in my head, I was thinking of rebuttals or something like that. I was like, all right, he might say this, he might say this, he might say this. Boom, 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 boom. And he comes out of nowhere, he's like, hey, what? Say that again? And I was like, nigga, all right, yeah, this. And then the point was something totally different. It was something totally different. And I'm like, fuck. I should have also been taking real live notes. I was taking notes, but I wasn't taking as much notes as I thought. I think I was having a lot more fun. I was having a lot more fun than anything. So that probably played into it as well. But yeah, man, I gotta not get so distracted in these conversations. I got distracted a lot, just as far as where he was going with a lot of things. And he used a lot of examples. Seb used a lot of examples. Not necessarily a bad thing, but when I'm asking direct questions, I don't know if I need, or I'll say examples for me kind of drown out the purpose of what I'm asking and whatnot.
Hey there.
Hi. Whew. But yeah, let me catch up on chat real quick. So I'm of the opinion, says Luna Ursa, that the projection versus channeling perspective about Sakura's punches can be solved by saying it could be both. I don't think releasing the chakra on impact is inaccurate. Yeah, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that heavy, because when your guys' conversation happened, and we'll see this, I don't know if it was that he was dismissive of where you were coming from, because your whole point was it really depends on what the interpreter is looking for and how much they know and, their own edification of things. That's what's going to depend on how we interpret certain abilities to work. If the series doesn't give us those things, directly. And to me, it seemed like he was a little, all right, yeah, cool. So you're basically saying this. And it's well, no, not basically saying this. This is what I'm saying. But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that as well. I thought that was extremely interesting. Shinigami is going to be drawing. No problem with that. As always, yo, Ab, says Kino. Do you have time to watch the Hiei versus Espada video by Mr. Crafty Skills this stream? Probably not. Not gonna lie. Hiei versus the Espada. I feel like I've seen that one, though. If it's not too long, we can probably watch it. How was Stuff? Stuff is good. The week was okay. Work is finally over. Yeah. So, not too bad. What's good, Karibo? You and Seb's Naruto philosophy was very different but similar in the same ways. Was it very... Tell me more about that, Kino. What aspects were very similar to you? What aspects were very similar? Because I thought we couldn't have been further apart on most of the topics that we covered. But that made it for a good conversation because it's polarity, right? He's saying, well, no, they scale the chakra in this way and chakra output. I'm like, well, hold up there, buddy boy. Output doesn't, all right, that's a catch-all term, output. What does that mean, though? Like, what's actually happening? And it was really funny because after the conversation, and he probably did this too, after the conversation, I thought of like maybe 50 different, or exaggerating, of course, right? But I thought of a lot of other counters after. I was like, yo, I could have said this. I could have said that. I could have said this. And so, yeah, I didn't think we could be like further from each other, but it was still a great conversation nonetheless. Seb understood how things should be power skill, but sometimes chooses not to do it or simply unable to do it, usually relying on someone else who knows more than him. And that's always fine. I rely on people that know more than me as well. Zalius's joints, Sage's joints. By Sage, I mean Galax, Sage Otsutsuki, not thick calves or whatever. Dr. Scrangle. I rely on people that know more than me all the time. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Karibo always thinking. Yep. Well, Sebs was typing in the chat sometimes. Oh, yes. That's something I noticed too. Because one of my watches on the replay was just literally reading the chat. I literally just read the chat. Like the entire chat while I was playing. I just read it. And I'm pretty sure people were giving him arguments that he used. Not a problem. Do what you want to do. Do what you got to do. But I'd be damned if people say that me and Luna Ursa tag teamed him. Because I saw that and I was like, huh? That wasn't a tag team. At the most, Luna Ursa said something that I was already going to say. That's at the most. But no, for the majority of the time, when I was talking, she was quiet. She was respectful. She didn't interrupt. When she was talking, I was quiet, respectful, didn't interrupt. I let them have it. She might have asked me like one question, something, right, Ab-Stract, and then I didn't even get to talk because Seb kind of brought it back. I was about to be like, you got it. So no, there will be no talks and narratives of double teaming and jumping and any of that stuff. I don't want to hear it. Plus, I'm pretty sure Seb is seasoned enough. All right, this was my first TikTok live. Give me a break. Anyways. Right, like, I don't think channeling chakra to boost their ability by big amounts isn't unreasonable as an idea for Naruto as a verse, but necessary minimum philosophy next that. There you go. We got Grit in the chat. I know Grit is going to get on me. I got you. It was the Akatsuki Obito mass scaling that was quite similar. You two, I had to go back. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. All right, so there's so many... Hey, friend, what ice cream did you get?
I ate it all.
What did you get?
It's called ice cream sando. It's like an ice cream sandwich, but in ice cream form. It's all blended together.
Sounds big.
Delicious.
Was the cousin Vicky? So is she still here?
She's still here.
Oh.
She and Auntie Susan leave tomorrow. Auntie's going with her.
Oh,
I'm telling
okay.
Her and
Gotcha.
I mean, no problem.
Nice.
Don't let me interrupt.
Well, no, you're here now. I might as well get my hugs. It's all right. Oh my gosh, it's all right.
I might go take a walk. It's still nice out.
It is nice. Ugh, that traffic was crazy too.
Yeah, I don't know how I beat you. I left work at like 3:45.
It was disgusting.
Jeez.
Terrible. Anyways, guys, yeah, a lot to talk about during this conversation, but it was good overall. It was good overall. Yeah, it was good overall. I need to figure out if I can have my mic on but not my headphones on when I'm talking, because one thing that I also wanted to do, or one thing that I figured out I could do was there's this app called Otter or something like that. What are you doing? Stop. You're going to get me banned. There's this app called Otter. Apologies. Are you having fun?
Yeah.
You having fun distracting the live?
I'm talking. I'm hanging out with my baby.
You hanging out with your baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
You didn't say hi to my baby.
I can do that. I have, what time is it? It's 7 o'clock? I have like 5 hours. Okay? I do. You're not going to bed yet.
Go to bed.
Mm-hmm. The video you recommended was a 22-minute video, Kino. All right, we'll see how we feel. Those were two different debates. There was no double teaming. Thank you. Two different conversations entirely. No double. Like, I don't know why. People in the chat were saying that he didn't say that. It was not him who said that. I didn't see. I think it was only like one person, but I was like, don't do that. Don't start that narrative. It's a lie. But yeah, that was fun. So let's get into it. I'm gonna have to find all the references mid debate. So when I say something that I know to be true within the series, I'm gonna find it and be like, that was true. When he says something that is true in the series, I'm gonna try and find it. Now, also, real quick, the Rinnegan was a big point here. Can anyone tell me where he was getting his information for the Rinnegan? I looked after the debate. I couldn't find anything for the Rinnegan. We'll see. Let's get to it, man. Okay, let's get to it. Mashed potatoes, shake it, baby, do the alligator. Do I have my YouTube up? I don't think I have my YouTube up. Oh, I do. And the last thing I was watching is John. Okay, let's go to my channel. I wonder if John will review this. He'd probably have fun. Okay, so let's get into this live breakdown real quick. Oh wait, no, it's a video. That's right. It's not even a live. It's a video. I like this thumbnail too. This thumbnail was kind of fire. Kind of fire thumbnail. We got Lightspeed in the chat. What's good, Brody? Also, does Ab-Stract associate me with Bleach or Death Note Shinigami? I've always seen you as a Bleach Shinigami. I've never even considered a Death Note Shinigami. Well, no, that's a lie, right? I have, but no. Ugh. Oh yeah, the Rinnegan aping stats thing. I don't know where he would have gotten that from. I do not know. Yeah, bro. And the thing is, like, I was trying to clarify. I was really trying to tell him, like, yo. And here's the thing, right? Like I said, he didn't place excessive burdens on me, so I wasn't going to press him out for anything or anything like that. Also, I told you guys, one of the best tactics you can use if you think someone is saying something wrong, mistaken, incorrect, erroneous, basically, go with it. Go with it. Because had I let that go on and then I did ask for, some evidence of it and he can't provide it, well, now all that scaling you just did goes out the window because I let you play this game. I let you ride this ride or, be loony in your own head and now you can't back it up. That's not to say that he was doing that or that he can't back it up. I'm just, giving you guys game. Let me close the door. Be the alligator. Grid said what I was going to type. Oh, what Grid say? The Rinnegan aping stats is an extrapolation based on Obito Nothing. Oh, based on Obito noting the chakra. Yeah, okay, so that's what I thought it was. Hold up, bro, hold up. That's what because when I say I was scouring, I was like, yo, where's he getting this Rinnegan stuff from? Where's this coming from? Let's go. Obito, Rinnegan. Should be this one. No, not that. What did I search to find it? Can someone find the chapter for that? Here's what I need people to get done. Can someone find the chapter for the Rinnegan? I need the chapter for Naruto learning Rasen Shuriken, specifically where Kakashi and Yamato talk about an exponential increase in jutsu. I need that, and there's like 2 other things that I know I said that I know I was correct on. AI mode. Where does he say it? Because it's an important scaling point. It's an important scaling point. Here we go. It was this one. So we're going to keep that up on this tab. But yeah. My Zanpakuto was a definite. That's kind of fire. Great that I was going to say. By the way, give me an apple, gang. I think I asked the question in the chat. What was that? It's being contrasted up against how the chakra from the Juubi made Obito lose his mind for a bit. So it's a big chakra influx which raises stats equals strain on the mind. Let me hear that again. It's being contrasted against how the chakra from the Juubi made Obito lose his mind for a bit. So it's a big chakra influx, which raises stats equals strain on the mind. Okay, so the thing with that though is I don't believe that's happening with the Rinnegan. And I'm going to tell you why. He says, even this one eye's chakra and ocular powers are so strong, I started to lose myself. What does that tell us? That tells us that the eye's power and chakra is independent of Obito. They're 2 separate things. With the Juubi, at least you can argue he's actually taking in that power. At least you can argue it's affecting him to X degree or whatever. With the eye, it's saying, oh, I have this thing that has now become somewhat a part of me, because it's not really my eye, but it's now become somewhat a part of me. It's hard to control. It's strong. But that's not you strong now. That's the eye's power. That's the eye's strength. Obito doesn't get a boost from just getting the eye. No, the eye is strong, and the eye was strong before Obito got it. Obito does not get stronger by getting the eye. Not in the ways that he's saying, at least. Not in the ways that he's saying. So this would have been a good... Thank you, Shinigami, for that. Thank you, Kino, for that. This would have been a good point to... what's the word? Not cross-reference. Interrogate. This would have been a good point to interrogate, or cross-examine is the word. But yeah, let's get started, because I'm ready for this. I will have it in 2 times speed, most likely. I think in a recent video, someone said the Rasen chapter was 321, chapter 321 for the expansion. My man. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, bro. Shinigami, I don't need panels. The chapter number will always be better because I'll likely do more or a little bit less than the actual panel. So chapter numbers will always be better for me. But I appreciate it. That's not to say I don't appreciate that. You're on your shit. I like that. Thank you. But chapter numbers will always be better. Okay. Yeah, we'll leave that. We'll leave that here for now. Perfect.
Honestly, all of this is just how we work now. And across Anthropic, Claw Tag opens 65% of our product pool requests. So what's going on in engineering? Drew heard from a sales rep that one feature, scheduled exports, is the thing their biggest deals are waiting on. He doesn't own it, so he asked the person who does. Nadia texts Claude, then Claude keeps up with the group thread, reacting to product decisions made in real time. It opens the PR, and it lands the change. And the cool part is that Claude knew what the feature was and...
Requiem. So yeah, let me, all right. After I review this, we're going to have our heads underwater for a little bit, come up only to, contest some points or whatever like that. Oh, we got John the Maven in the chat. Hey, yo, John pulled up at the perfect time. We're about to start the conversation / debate, and he pulls up right when we're about to start it. That's fire. Okay, so real quick, let me just catch up. You don't think that an influx in powerful chakra can reflect stat amps in any way? No. I do. I think though, in the specific case of the Rinnegan, that seemed like it was totally and solely due to the eye and contained within the eye. I do not believe that getting the Rinnegan gave Obito any stat amps, anything like that. No, the eye is powerful because of the mixture of chakra from the brain and the Hashirama and Hashirama and Uchiha DNA mixing, and that births new power and stuff like that. No. I mean, yes to that, but no, I don't believe that is something that Obito benefited from at all. No. Influx in chakra, sure, because that means you're going to have more power that you can use to X degree of chakra control. So yes, but even then, the point I was trying to get him to was that, okay, cool, you're saying, we'll get there because I don't want to spoil the debate, right? I don't want to spoil it. We'll get there. Volume's pretty good. Perfect. It's why you still need, Grid says, it's why you still see people scaling the energy that Amino Jakata would use to move the universe to Kaguya's stats. And we didn't even cover that as much as I wanted to, just as far as output and stuff like that. Production decisions in real time. Facts. Hey, yo, Neo Animatrix, where you been at, bro? You got to get to the back of the class. It's been a while since you've been here, man. All right? Tighten up. Let's get it. I've seen said before. Oh, here we go. Like I said, I'll probably be in 2x speed though, guys. If it is too fast, just let me know. What'd it do?
Hey,
it's good,
I want to ask you about the Sakura thing. Just, do you mind if you give me like 30 seconds? I just got like 70 missed calls. Give me a second.
Absolutely. Okay. Give me 1 second, y'all. Hey, YouTube chat, can you guys confirm you can hear him as well? Can you guys hear him? I want to make sure.
Okay. All right, I'm here. That was a glitch on my phone.
All good, bro.
All right. Yeah. So I just have a question about like the Akatsuki one. So do you take it to the case that Sakura did damage Kaguya?
I said, give me 1 second. I'm trying to see if the YouTube chat can hear you. I think they might be able to hear me though. Give me 1 second.
That's fine.
What's the technique that is? Hey, Kino, can you hear on the YouTube chat as well or no? Okay, you can only hear me. You can't hear him. Ah, fuck. I thought that might be an issue. Okay. You know, we'll have to fix that later.
Is your name just like Ab-Stract on YouTube?
Yes. Wait. OBS is currently active. Oh no. Don't delete that. Do not delete that. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Ab-Stract section on YouTube. You were asking me a question. Please continue.
Yeah. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So you're aware that like Kaguya got damaged by Sakura, a full power Kaguya, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would agree that like damaging a strong character, being able to take off their horn, for example, being able to do internal durability, because we see her like internally bleeding from that. You wouldn't scale that above the Akatsuki physical?
I like making my podcast. I don't like making short clips of my podcast. So the AI...
No. So this is actually one thing that I do agree on for the most part. I think Sakura has the AP to pretty much hurt anyone within the Akatsuki. I just don't think she has anything else going for her, is what I would say.
Okay, so basically your argument is, well, they have superior hacks, so they would out-hack Sakura.
Superior hacks, either relative speed, relative technique. Yeah, I think so, yeah.
What makes them relative in speed to Sakura?
Relative in speed to Sakura.
Yes.
Well, how fast do you have Sakura? Just curious.
Well, like, I mean, when you ask me that question, you're just asking inversely. So I just say Sakura is like relative to like.
What is going on there? Yo, 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 Mike. But did I not turn it up? Shouldn't have got me. Yo. That's so weird. Okay, thank you. Let me can y'all hear again? Is it back now? Okay, wait. Luna Ursa says we can hear. Love that Ab-Stract is the strongest silent type. Appreciate you, John. All right, hey, should have got me. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
All right, take it easy. Okay. Let's repeat all that shit again. Yeah, let's run it back. Let's run it back. We gonna run that all the way back. Let's go here. Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Ab-Stract section on YouTube. You were asking me a question. Please continue.
Yeah. So what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So you're aware that like Kaguya got damaged by Sakura, a full power Kaguya, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you would agree that like damaging a strong character, being able to take off their horn, for example, being able to do internal durability, because we see her like internally bleed from that. You wouldn't scale that above the Akatsuki physical?
No. So this is actually one thing that I do agree on for the most part. I think Sakura has the AP to pretty much hurt anyone within the Akatsuki. I just don't think she has anything else going for her, is what I would say.
Okay, so basically your argument is, well, they have superior hacks, so they would out-hack Sakura.
Superior hacks, either relative speed, relative technique. Yeah, I think so, yeah. So, here's the thing. The reason I went with relative speed is, number one, because I didn't want to place a burden on myself to say, oh, well, they're all just faster than her. And then, well, okay, we'll prove they're faster. Right? And the reason, of course, why I yielded higher AP is because that's something that I do believe. I don't have a problem saying she punches harder. Right? Now, that doesn't include jutsu, though. That's the only thing, right? I don't have a problem with, though, saying her physicals are higher than pretty much most of, or if not, everyone in the Akatsuki.
What makes them relative in speed to Sakura?
Relative in speed to Sakura. Now, this is where that little red came that you guys couldn't hear. When I said relative in speed to Sakura, and then I'm like, relative in speed to Sakura? I've never really considered how different that I scale from the average Naruto person, right? And so when you're talking to the Naruto archetype of scaler today, right? The modern Naruto scaler, most of these guys have Sakura as faster. So me hearing him even say that made me take a double take, like, what makes them relative in speed? Right. Gotta remember who I'm talking to, though, right? And this is not to Seb. Like I said, this is speaking to the archetype of the Naruto scaler of today. Most of these guys have these opinions. Most of these guys have these thoughts. So it was more so of an internal audit / correction in my head. I'm like, more relative to Sakura? Okay. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I said when you guys couldn't hear me.
Yes.
Well, how fast do you have Sakura? Just curious.
Well, like, I mean, when you ask me that question, you're just asking inversely. So I just say Sakura is like relative to like in speed of Kaguya, which means that like in terms of speed, she would be above like everyone else in the war arc, like meaning like Obito, my guy, etc. And I think all those people are above the Akatsuki speed was.
Okay, so relative to Kaguya, Sakura relative speed to Kaguya, and how fast do we have Kaguya speed? So now, here's my thing with this. The reason I needed to ask these questions was because, number one, I wanted to know if he was coming from a place that was more intuitive or a place that actually was grounded in some type of numbers, scaling, like a scaling chain, numbers, calcs. I wanted to see which one he was going to kind of come with. Mind you, I didn't come prepared for any of that stuff. I was going to kind of go off the vibe that he was setting with his scaling. So when he said, oh, well, I have her as fast as Sakura, as fast as Kaguya, I'm like, okay, cool. That's very easy to debunk. That's very easy to get rid of. But then I still got to know, well, how fast do you have Kaguya? Because I still need to know, like, something internally, like as far as like, well, do you have her faster than everybody? Like, how fast is Kaguya? Saying she's faster than X person doesn't really help me, because if I can see that she is faster, then you can just steamroll the entire conversation. Well, you already yielded that she's faster. What is faster? How much faster are we talking? Faster in what area? Faster in what facet of speed are we talking about? Are we talking about travel speed? Are we talking about combat speed, reaction speed? And so that's kind of why I was like, well, how fast is Kaguya?
Again, like when you ask me that question, you're just asking me like in comparison to other characters. Because when you say like I'm not gonna say FTL, because then I could just say, well, the Akatsuki aren't FTL. It's a non-productive conversation.
Okay.
Answer like that.
And let me just say this: I do like his approach to the speed conversation. It simplifies things a lot. Like I said, it makes it very easy to debunk. For me, in my opinion, we didn't actually get into the conversation, so I'm only saying that based on what I already know the arguments for speed. For Sakura's speed to be. I don't know if he would have argued it better than I've heard, but I know the arguments for Sakura's speed. I've come against them before. They're not that good. So you're kind of just basing the speed on different tiers of people that you've seen, but not actually giving any qualifiers or
there's no reason to give a multiplier for it. Well, you can stipulate it from the feats shown, but there's no reason to give a multiplier for the speed. It's pointless.
So let me ask you this then. When you're saying she's faster than everyone in the verse because she is as fast as Kaguya or scales to Kaguya, are we talking blitz tiers faster? Are we talking a little bit faster? Are we talking like how? What do we?
I mean, it's the same way you would say that my guy's a blitz tier faster than Itachi. It's the same way I'd say Sakura's a blitz tier faster than Itachi.
I don't know if I'd say that though. I think I might say eighth. See, to me that's like some slick shit. It's the same way you say Might Guy is a blitz tier faster than Itachi. It's the same way you say Sakura is a blitz tier faster than Itachi. That's some slick stuff. Seb talks really. Seb's good. He's good at what he does. I'll give him that. But no, on his face, I don't think I agree with those assertions. Right? I would need more. I would need to hear the logic in them. So yeah. Guy, I don't know about any other version of Guy, but I also don't have Sakura being that fast. Let me go back here so you guys couldn't hear that.
Even 7th gate guy, who's like stated to be like vastly weaker than 5th gate guy, is contending with Madara.
She's faster than everyone in the verse because she is as fast as Kaguya or scales to Kaguya. Are we talking blitz tiers faster? Are we talking a little bit faster? Are we talking like how? What do we?
I mean, it's the same way you would say that my guy's a blitz tier faster than Itachi. It's the same way I'd say Sakura's a blitz tier faster than Itachi.
I don't know if I'd say that though. I think I might say 8th gate Guy. I don't know about any other version of Guy, but I also don't have Sakura being that fast either.
Even 7th gate guy, who's like stated to be like vastly weaker than 5th gate guy, is contending with Madara. That's shown. Contending?
In what ways? Didn't Madara dodge all his attacks, like all of them?
No, he was blocking hits. In the manga, it's directly shown that there's impact frames showing that he was blocking hits from Guy. Meaning that, like, in order for him to defend, he wouldn't be dodging. He would have to be blocking. Meaning they're not high relative in speed, but at least low relative in speed. And you would agree that no Akatsuki member could replicate that exact same feat on Madara.
Well, so I wouldn't consider Madara blocking even a low relative thing, honestly. I don't know if there's any way to get any concrete relativity from blocking versus dodging. I see what you're saying.
Itself takes less effort, right?
Say it again.
Well, like naturally speaking, dodging takes less effort. For example, like if hypothetically speaking, good pray to God doesn't happen, someone tries to shoot at you, right?
Right.
But this bullet comes from so far, you have enough time to like move your head out of the way. That's way different than taking the effort to put up your hand, blocking, getting in a stance, and blocking all moves from different directions. Because that's what my guy does with his taijutsu. I think it takes extremely way more effort than simply just dodging the attacks. So at the very least, Madara would not be a blitz tier above a 7th gate guy, meaning that at a very big low ball, he's low relative.
Has anyone actually made it to level 4 before? If you're slightly congested, use level 1.
Yes. So yeah, the argument boils down to Might Guy is low relative because Madara is blocking all his attacks. And then what you'll see I do is, well, does blocking all someone's attacks necessitate that they are low relative? Could you not argue the fact that they got blocked by every move? Could you not argue that that would make them way less relative, in fact? We can't really glean too much just from someone blocking. We can't really glean too much. If Guy did nothing significant and Madara only had the block, then I don't understand where we would be getting any type of relativity from that, right? There's also, like, when I was thinking about this response too, live that is, I didn't say this because it didn't need to come up, but I was holding it just in case I had to say it. Aside from blocking, you know what else would have been the fastest or most easiest, the least effort thing to do to get rid of Guy? A TSO. A TSO. That would have been the most least effort thing to do. TSO shield, TSO attack, TSO explosion, most least effort thing to do. So there's that. So I think what I'm trying to And Grid is absolutely correct. I do not believe that Guy is a blitz tier above Itachi. I don't think 7th gate Guy is a blitz tier above Itachi. I just don't see it. Come to grips with is also there's literally no scaling for it at all. No scaling for that at all. And don't get me wrong, I understand your point completely as far as which one would take more effort. I just don't know if blocking necessitates a more effort thing, like as far as like a necessity. Could, because you gotta understand, Madara was also interested in the 8 gates, right? He was also interested in the 8 gates, and he was kind of like, okay, so he disrespects me by not bringing out the red vapor. So that already kind of tells us he wants to kind of see what's up with him, at least from my perspective.
He was interested in, if you're referring to like during 7 gates, I think that's afterwards. I don't think it was before that. But regardless, if he was interested, he would have just dodged the attacks previously. Like even if you don't want to use that, again, like base Guy in the war is able to like trade hits with Obito, which is a white mask who's above all the Akatsuki member.
Trade hits with Obito. So like I think what we're running into is things you may find impressive just aren't that impressive to me. White mask Obito doesn't have any like feats or scaling to necessitate that. And so here's something that the community, the Naruto community, that is the Naruto scaling community, they've bought into their own lies and illusions. They've literally bought into them like stocks. Why do I say that? Seb said that to me as if it was supposed to be some impressive thing. He said it as a point to say, well, I mean, if you're not going to give Madara a Guy, right, you're going to give Guy Obito at the very least. And I'm like, I mean, Obito, does that change anything? How impressive is Obito? What are we talking about? What's up, friend?
My baby punched me like 3 times.
Are you serious?
Yeah, come feel.
You were kicked?
Punch.
1 second, y'all.
Let me see. It kind of has stopped now, but no, you have to push your hand hard against it. Fingers, use your fingers like this. Right up here. It was right here. It's done now.
Come back when it happens again.
Nah, it'll be too late.
Okay. So yeah, like Mike Guy was able to fight White Mask Obito. Here's the thing about White Mask Obito and Guy in general. I have a question, and this is when I do my next TikTok live, I'm gonna ask this series of questions to establish a great point about the series, right? Did Mike Guy get stronger over the course of Shippuden? Did he get stronger from when we first saw him fight the 30% clone of Kasame to the war arc? Did he get stronger? That's my question. Then my question is, did Kasame get stronger from fighting Guy as a 30% clone to 7th gate Guy Hitodora on Turtle Island? Did he get stronger? Why are these questions important? Well, let me lay this foundation first. You have characters in a series that get stronger by training and being in fights and stuff like that. And then you kind of have the characters that already have strength, but they have not shown us their full potential. I believe Might Guy and most Naruto characters are the latter. These guys don't get stronger. They just don't show us their full potential. That's literally what has happened. That if you like look at Mike Guy's fighting career, that's literally what he is. That's what he embodies. Guy has always been strong, right? But certain battles will like reveal more about his power. And the end to the means of that is if you concede that Guy didn't get strong, and if you say he did get strong, I'm going to ask you to qualify that. And what metrics are you using to determine he got strong? I'm going to need all that stuff, right? You can't because if you agree to that, I need to know where you're getting he got stronger from. So let's just assume my premise is correct. Guy did not get stronger. Well, that means that him and Kasame are relative. Very relative. Why? Because the 30% clone of Kasame is able to fight Mike Guy easily with his nunchucks. He's able to fight him easily with his nunchucks. Cool. Second, we go to Turtle Island. Kasame is able to block and deflect Guy's attacks and escape faster than Guy can pursue. That's relativity, is it not? Cool. We go a little further. Might Guy versus Obito. Well, Might Guy was able to fight White Mask Obito, who just scales above the Akatsuki. I'm sorry, Kasame was just fighting Guy in base. He was just fighting him in base without his sword. So he was actually weaker. If we're going to put it as like an overall. He was actually weaker overall without his sword. So yeah, those questions are important. They need to be answered. I will get answers. And if I don't get the right answers, you're going to have to prove why my answers, or why your answers are correct, I should say. Where we at? Shinigami says, I got scans for multiple chapters to share for this whole chakra shape transformation things. I think there's context, especially from your stance of what makes someone stronger in Naruto. We will get there, yep. You can say that the Rasen Shuriken makes Naruto stronger exponentially, not like Sasuke or Kamehameha. It adds options, and it increases cutting power, not raw power levels. We're gonna get all that. We're gonna get to all that stuff. I'll repeat myself first. I already read that. I agree. Interaction scaling isn't good for necessary minimum pro. Exactly. Like, unless we already know these people are on the same level, we cannot just determine, oh, well, he blocked, so that means they're low relative because he blocked. Well, hold up. Did he have to block? Was that his only choice? Could he use the TSL? Because there's many times where Madara could have did something else that he didn't. He could have just, if he wanted to use the least amount of effort, he would have just used limbo and not even moved. So blocking doesn't really work. All right, let's continue. A good thing for me, though. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Well, White Mask Obito is simply just above Toby. We know that White Mask Obito gains the Rinnegan, so we just be exponentially stronger by default.
Exponentially stronger based on what? Exponentially stronger based on what?
Rinnegan, well, the Rinnegan's not what say it to make you exponentially stronger. It gives you an influx in chakra that's above the natural limit. Like, that's why, like, when Nagato, for example, when he gains the Rinnegan as a child, he gains exponentially, like, he gets exponentially stronger.
Okay. And here's, like I said, when people say things, you can either challenge it or play along. I'm choosing to play along. Like I said, he's not placing heavy burdens. I'm not placing heavy burdens. Can someone find me where it states, because he just said it's stated, that the Rinnegan gives you exponentially more power? Like I said, I looked. I couldn't find it. Now, I'm not the data book guy. John, if you're here, that is John the Maven. John, if you're here, do you have any knowledge, references, or manuscripts stating that the Rinnegan gives you exponential power? Do you have that, John? Do you know anything of it, John? Because I don't know it. If it exists, fine. If not, then... Also, the whole White Mask... I'll wait till we cover that more, actually. So, and this is actually just somewhat of a rant I just went on before you got in here, like within the last 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
What is the... Just clarifying question. Is there any determinable metric in Naruto that necessitates someone is stronger? Or would you say it's based off of multiple things? By the way, just to self-glaze, toot my own horn, pat on my back, that's a beautiful question. That is a beautiful question. And you'll see we do this ring around the rosy until we get to where I need the conversation to go. Let's hear it again.
He gets exponentially stronger.
Okay, so, and this is actually just somewhat of a rant I just went on before you got in here, like within the last 15 minutes.
Yes, sir.
What is the, just clarifying question. Is there any determinable metric in Naruto that necessitates someone is stronger? Or would you say it's based off of multiple things?
Well, that's very vague. If you want to talk about like chakra increases, there's multiple statements that state that. Like for example, curse mark statement saying, hey, you got stronger when you get into a second form of curse mark 2, or hey, you were losing a lot of chakra, so your reaction speed is low. Like there's linear things in Naruto, but a lot of it's vague.
I agree, but you wouldn't say it is a one-to-one with every stat and including technique, right? You wouldn't say that.
I'm aware. No, obviously.
So we would agree then. Okay, cool. So we would agree then that someone just getting stronger would cover multiple things. It wouldn't just be their AP, speed, or durability. It might not even be AP, speed, and durability.
No,
it could be. Okay.
No,
so,
I'm aware.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
That's why we base it off of context.
So, okay, cool.
For example,
okay. Beautiful question. This is a... Oh, man. Go. I don't want to cut you off.
For example, the reason why I take it to be the case that like the Rinnegan makes you stronger, but like the limbo clones don't give you like stronger abilities, is because the statements itself are different, right? When they state that the limbo clones they replicate the abilities, as in they create a clone of Madara and they replicate the abilities, right? We know the abilities here doesn't mean like literal hacks, because if that was the case, then the limbo clones would be using limbo clones when they don't. So since we have that factor out of the way, the only other way we can interpret ability is stats. So when they say they have equal stats to Madara, then I can now make the deduction, well, these shadow clones of Naruto are fighting the limbo clones of Madara. Therefore, a weakened Naruto is above Madara. That's the induction I base it off because of context. But the Rinnegan one, there's nothing else. It's just stating to make you exponentially, give you an exponential increase in chakra. I don't know how else I'm supposed to interpret that.
No, I got you. And I don't necessarily have a problem with the Rinnegan thing. I think that's fine. Inductive reasoning. The Rinnegan, the limbo don't show do any other jutsu or hacks. So therefore, we really just be talking about Madara's physical stats. I have no problem with that. When we get to the Nagato example with the Rinnegan, though, right? When you're saying it's an increase in chakra, we understand that chakra control is the basis and foundation for how ninja are going to perform pretty much all of their things, whether it be taijutsu, ninjutsu, genjutsu, right? So it's going to be more chakra, yes, but more chakra in and of itself isn't more AP. More chakra in and of itself, and I know you already know this, I gotta say this though, more chakra in and of itself isn't more power necessarily, right? All these things are going to be dependent upon that individual's chakra control, their specific techniques, their circumstances, and even it might even depend on who they're fighting just based off of how effective certain things are going to work on everyone else. So when we say 10 times stronger, when we say multiplicatively, or when we say exponentially stronger for Rinnegan, what are so like how you did the inductive reasoning for Madara, what are the inductive things that we were getting from Obito to say he is X amount stronger to where no one in the Akatsuki could hurt him, wound him, attack him, or anything else? God damn. That boy good. That boy good. Officer, he did it. It was him. Hey, yo, listen. You really gotta know what you're talking about to talk like this, bro. You really gotta know what you're talking about. Cause I'm taking that the Rinnegan gives you exponential power. Okay, cool. We've determined power is chakra. Okay, cool. Let's establish what that means. Chakra isn't stats. Chakra isn't AP. It's going to be dependent upon the individual, how well they can control their chakra, to what degree they can control their chakra. And then there were other factors that I neglected to mention, because if I needed to mention them, I could have brought them up later. Right? We'll get into that into the presentation. There are some other factors I didn't mention that also affect things as far as like your combat ability and stuff like that. But it's a beautiful question that really needs to be thoroughly answered. And shout out to Seb, because he does a good job of, number one, talking confidently, talking quickly, and he'll hit certain points and kind of take the conversation somewhere else. But then I have to respond to that somewhere else, because it's like he might drop a gem that I got to respond to. If it goes unresponded to, then the other thing might not stick. So yeah, let's go back a little bit. Yeah, let's go back a little bit. I gotta say this though. More chakra in and of itself isn't more power necessarily, right? All these things are going to be dependent upon that individual's chakra control, their specific techniques, their circumstances, and even it might even depend on who they're fighting just based off of how effective certain things are going to work on everyone else. So when we say 10 times stronger, when we say multiplicatively, or when we say exponentially stronger for Rinnegan, so like how you did the inductive reasoning for Madara, what are the inductive things that we were getting from Obito to say he is X amount stronger to where no one in the Akatsuki could hurt him, wound him, attack him, or anything else?
Okay, so yeah, Toby had way worse feats. That's like directly shown. The narrative implies that like when Toby has this power, he already knows how to control it. Because when he gets in the younger state against Minato, he's able to fight Minato. And
real quick, I don't like. So here's the thing. This is a non-answer. This whole thing he's talking about is a non-answer to the question, and it's partly due that I couldn't respond to everything because he went on for so long, and I'm trying to keep track of his chain, and I'm trying to keep track of his what argument he's trying to do now. But this is like in full context of me understanding where he's going with this. It's a non-answer. We're going to break it down though.
Okay, so yeah, Toby had way worse feats. That's like directly shown. The narrative implies that like when Toby has this power, he already knows how to control it. Because when he gets in the younger state against Minato, he's able to fight Minato. And most people argue this. He fights Minato in a relative state and gets one shot, right? However, afterwards, he's able to blitz people like Kage. He's able to He's able to contend with Sage Naruto. He's able to contend with all these characters that are clearly above. Minato himself states Toby has gotten stronger, despite the fact that he hasn't gained a single Rinnegan ability, hasn't gained a single Sharingan ability. All he did was just get stronger, right? Okay. So if we know he's unquantifiable times amount stronger, and then we have a statement directly stating, hey, you gained more chakra exponentially. And definitely speaking, we would say chakra here. I understand your argument saying, well, it's vague. You know, it can apply to anything. It can apply to not even speed or strength, right? But the reason why we have the Rinnegan applicable to Obito for chakra control is because we know that Obito's already used to like high-level chakra outputs, like Hashirama cells. When Madara gives him these said Hashirama cells, he already knows how to control them, despite previously being in a fucking coma, right? So it's not like his chakra control, like at a young state, was horrible. So when he got the Rinnegan and was able to like naturally do his attacks, like again at a stronger rate, obviously, then logic would dictate not inherently a one-to-one, but that he does significantly get stronger with the Rinnegan.
I want my garage to feel like a bonus room, not just a makeshift storage unit.
Okay, so remember, the question was, it was based off of his answer. The question was, what inductive things has Obito shown us to let us know that getting the Rinnegan made him stronger? You'll see he starts with younger Obito fighting Minato. And then he says, well, I mean, he just got stronger over the course of his life. Kind of what I said. He just got stronger over the course of his life. He also said in there he blitzed the Raikage and Sage Naruto. I don't know when that happened. I should have wrote that down, but I wrote down the first thing I heard, which was his bridge to Minato and Obito being, because that was weird. It's like, why would you start with that version of Obito? Like, the reason this is a non-answer for me is because you're going back so far, number one, when we really should just be starting from when Obito doesn't have it to when he does have it and what happens next. Those are the only things we need comparisons of, right? If we're using induction, we should be looking at for when Obito doesn't have the Rinnegan in a relevant era, not versus Minato, not when he's escaping Madara's cave. Those aren't relevant eras. Orange Mask Obito is probably the best I can give you, but guess what? You'll be stuck there because he's feetless. He doesn't do anything. So you don't know. So I understand why you pulled from this. I understand why he pulled from what he did, because it's all he could pull from, right? But to use those examples and then kind of use that to try and justify, oh yeah, well, this is why he got stronger, and then not even name things that he did with the Rinnegan, it's like, well, that's a non-answer. That didn't answer the question at all. But yeah, I wrote down that the first bridge you tried to kind of make was that you were comparing the youngest version of Obito as a combatant. Well, not the youngest as a combatant, but I guess orange, not even Orange Mask Obito. Yellow, thank you. Yellow Mask Obito when he fights Minato. That's where we're starting our Obito scaling?
Well, no, I'm just giving that as a comparison, as an analogy. I'm saying, well, we know that like Obito at a very young age is able to like control this like high range of power. So to say that, well, he gets a Rinnegan, he doesn't inherently scale higher, seems a little, not disingenuous, but it seems like, well, when we're talking about Obito, it's way different than talking about like Nagito, for example, because the guy was like a fucking kid. He doesn't know how to fully control the Rinnegan.
Okay. So what I would like, number one, because I really wanted to address some of the other things first. Let me try and go back to that, some of that stuff. Yeah.
No, it's fine. You gotta address everything.
Got you. So firstly, the gap between Orange Mask, not Orange Mask, White Mask, was it? Which one was it, bro? Yes, this was me getting befuddled because Obito has so many damn masks. I couldn't remember which one fought Minato. I really couldn't. I was like, was that White Mask, Orange? I don't know. Which one was it?
The guy between where he fought Minato, you said?
Yeah, which mask is that? That's White Mask, right?
Yeah,
okay.
No, when he fought Minato,
yes.
That was Yellow Mask.
Yellow Mask. God damn it. Yellow, orange, all these masks, right? Cool. So anyways.
So yellow's first, then orange, then it's white. Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Appreciate that. So what I'm saying is, the point about Obito fighting Minato and then going on to get the Rinnegan and all these other things and stated he's being stronger. I think Obito, just as him progressing and fighting other people and helping form and lead the Akatsuki, he would have gotten stronger over that time anyway. To say that this is all solely inherently due to the Rinnegan, again, I would like something. Okay, that's not what you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
let me hear it. The Rinnegan could be a portion of it. All I'm saying is that the Rinnegan itself gives you higher power.
Okay, cool.
I'm not saying it's the only reason why you got stronger.
Let's stick to that. Seb, let's stick to that, right? Because I really want to find this, right? What can we find that is actually demonstrating that? Because I really don't believe any dojutsu, including the Rinnegan, yields higher power for people. I really just don't believe it. It's not really shown or brought out feats.
You don't believe it yields higher power for people? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so like people say, oh well, when Sasuke activated his 3-time away Sharingan against Naruto, his stats increased, and I'm like, I don't really see that. Can you demonstrate his stats increasing? Can you show me that?
Well, that's different. I mean, if you're basing
this actually came by way of I was watching John's review of 6 versus Batman. And one of them was saying that the Sharingan gives you a stat increase. I'm pretty sure it was 6. And I'm like, that's not bore out in any of the feats. You made that up. Stop lying. But anyways, yeah.
Your stipulation based on that example, that's different because the tomoe specifically have like different qualities to it. The 3 tomoes made for precognition specifically. Yeah. The 2 tomoes made for like just seeing it overall, right? So obviously that increase would be different. But we know that fundamentally the Rinnegan is different from the Sharingan. The Rinnegan actually is shown that like when you have it, you can't fully control the Chidori unless you have a Sharingan, meaning that the fundamental aspects are different.
No, I understand.
We unequivocally see from a Rinnegan is it either gains new abilities or gives an influx in chakra. And obviously if you have chakra control like Obito, for example, right, like you said, right, you can like transfer that chakra into your stats.
He's slick. Seb is slick. I never said Obito has good chakra control. I never said that. It's fine though, because you know I like it. Right. So then it goes back to chakra control, right? Because that's what I'm really boiling it down to. That's kind of what we both kind of settled on as far as.
I think it's fair to agree that like Obito has exceptional chakra control. That was basically my argument with the whole yellow.
So we get to. Let me come up. How can I let you up, Tay? I'm not on what you call it. Most I can do is give you a call, bro. Anyways, Tay, tell me how you'd like to come up. How you want to do it? Anyways, we get to chakra control, right? Because that's where when I initially asked him the stronger question, that is the big cumin of where we're going to end up. Chakra control, right? And guess what? You don't. How do you determine good chakra control? This is also where I was going. How do you determine it? Okay, so now that listen, I'll take a break to catch up on chat. Because I want to address some of you guys still. I don't want to leave y'all hanging. Where's the last thing I read? Yeah, Grid says, unless he's saying Guy randomly grows a blitz tier during the war arc. That's what a lot of these. So I've heard that over the years too, Grid. Like, oh my God, all the characters bloomed or got stronger during the war arc. And it's like, you guys can't just say that. You guys actually got to show the feats for that. You got to show the scaling for that. You can't just say it and it be true because you want it to be true and it's a war arc and it's the final season. No. You got to actually prove that stuff. So yeah, that's what a lot of people do think, bro. This much I'll disagree with. White Mask Obito is generally just constantly outpacing KCM Naruto in his wood style, especially is blitzing people on par with that. So we got to be careful about Naruto's speed scaling. This is why like, bro, and this isn't you, Grid, but I understand where you're coming from, right? When Naruto dodges the Raikage, we do understand this is not the first time that we're seeing Naruto move fast, right? No, we've seen him move fast one time against Kasame. Okay, cool, right? He gets to the war, or tries to get to the war. How many times is he blocked? How many times is he stopped? How many times? Anyone know? How many times did he succeed? Right. But we want that to be his current speed. We want that to be his top confirmed speed. No, that's not how we do it. You get scaled back to the last thing you was really doing, which was fighting Itachi, bro. So, yeah. White Mask, Obito outpacing him. Number one, White Mask, Obito outpaced. So Obito is a special case anyway, because we're gonna talk about Obito anyway. Tay says, can you review our discussion in the comment between me and Seb? I absolutely will, sir. We're definitely gonna do that. We're gonna get to the comments. Of course, we're gonna get to the comments. Thank you for the donation, bro. Appreciate that. Let me catch up real quick. Where was I? Okay, Luna Ursa says they bought it into the scaling chain so deeply that they think claims to fame are intrinsically involved in every fight. Like, there's nothing to say that by itself any feat reveals crazy skill. Exactly. Kino says, I just now found out the big three is also called the Holy Shonin Trio. I did not know that. That's fire. John says, hi, I think the thing Amid Grid pointed out earlier is the closest thing. You're probably talking about the Rinnegan conversation. If that's what you're talking about, then next time I talk to Seb, I'm gonna have to ask him about that exponential Rinnegan thing, because I've certainly never heard it. Like I said, I've read the series. I've never seen exponential Rinnegan. I've talked to people who read the series. You guys haven't seen it, so it's okay. We'll address that when it's time to. John says, I'm not aware off the top of my head of the eye itself somehow making you stronger. Thank you, John. I more think it just comes with a slew of more powerful abilities like ripping. Thank you. And so, like, the Naruto community doesn't understand strength, power is an overall statement. I make this extremely clear in my Naruto durability video, and I don't know why people haven't been catching on to this. Not you guys, right? I don't know why people have not been catching on to this, though. Stronger in Naruto is your entire kit. It is not just one thing. It's not just chakra. It's not just chakra control. It's not just chakra volume. It's not just chakra potency. It's not your ninjutsu. It's not your genjutsu. It's not your... they don't have a category for movement speed techniques, but it's not your body flicker, right? No, it is multiple things. It's even your battle IQ as a ninja. Yes, it is. It's multiple things that make you stronger. So yeah, when you get a Rinnegan, overall you get stronger because now you have a wider arsenal. You can rip people's souls out on contact. Yes, you're now stronger. What are we talking about? How would you not be? In a series where it takes like full contact lightning thrusts and spheres of spiraling chakra and chakra fire, and you can just touch somebody and beat them? Yes, you're stronger. Of course. Obviously so. Thank you for saying that. Yes, Tay says, let me come up. I do want to let you come up. I got to figure out how. Oh, you was joking. Okay, no problem. John says, I don't think 6 is lying per se. I just think it's this meme that's gotten passed around in the community and people kind of assume it's true. Also, thanks for watching. Oh no, of course, bro. Yo, Loki, I'll be watching John's things because I always miss his lives because I'm always doing something. So I always miss the lives. So I got to catch them early morning on the way to work or back home drive. But yeah, it's based on kind of liberal interpretation. Let's say a particular scan. Okay. And you said you don't think 6 is lying. Okay, I mean, fair enough. I don't. It's not right to call people liars to their face. I'll give you that. That's true. Misinformed maybe, or difference of opinion, right? JJ, what's good? What's happening? We good. We reviewing this live discussion between me and Seb. The fact Naruto was powerless against the third Hokage in KCM2 massively downscales the verse. Come on now. Grid says, yeah, I agree with that. Kishimoto makes a distinct indifference between KCM Naruto's normal speed and his body flicker. Obito scales to his normal speed. Thank you. Yes, that's all I'm saying. That is literally all I'm saying. So when you see Might Guy being relative to Obito, that should not be impressive to anyone. That tells me that Kisame can keep up with that Naruto. He should be able to. He can react to Guy. He should be able to. Why not? Wasn't Itachi just fighting that version of Naruto too? Why not? Guy can fight White Mask Obito. Okay, so can Kakashi. Kakashi just got nearly cut in half by Zabuza. Do we want to say Zabuza can keep up with White Mask Obito too? Would we like to go there? Alright, we're getting back to it. Actually, I'm going to catch all the way up, then we're getting back to it. Hey gang. Hell, it even contradicts Naruto's introduction into the war, as the only reason Raikage views him as the savior going forward is because he finally got outsped. Exactly, he got outsped one time. Exactly. Great. The problem with that is that there would be a bunch of characters that scale to fully KCM1 Naruto anyway, even if we took the high ends, because the feats don't change. Grid says that Ursa, genuinely, who else scales the KCM Naruto's body flicker? That's a good question. Who else scales to his body flicker? Not his raw movement speed. Who else scales to his body flicker? Because he's not body flickering during the time he's fighting Obito. He's not. And get this. Do y'all remember Kakashi versus Obito? What did I say in that video? I said that the third Raikage can soft blitz Madara. What does that mean, soft blitz? That means he can get the Madara, and Madara can only block. And Madara even confirms this, and by confirm I mean he is giving credence to the claim that Raikage is fast. He confirms this by blocking. He's fast, right? Cool, so he's able to block him. But KCM Naruto outspeeds the Raikage, so he should definitely be faster than Raikage. But what happens? Well, KCM1 Naruto not only can't blitz Obito or Madara, he gets reflected. He gets his own Rasengan reflected. So he's not faster in combat speed, and he's not faster in reaction speed, in my opinion. We have those things to contend with and deal with. Let's get back to the video. Yes, we're going to go over the comments today. We're definitely doing that. Not really. When it comes to chakra control, for the most part, I think, for me at least, the best thing to do is to base it off of who does what the best in what area in what field. Let me ask you this. Do you think that White Mask Obito hits harder than Sakura and Tsunade at full power? And I don't even mean 100 healings. I just mean like their maximum output strikes. Do you think he hits harder than that?
If you're referring to like physical strength, well, that's different, because if you're talking about physical strength and AP, that's different. I think he has higher AP than Tsunade, but worse physical strength than Tsunade.
So,
but for Sakura, Sakura's better AP and physical strength.
Okay, let me ask you this: when you're saying he has higher AP, are you talking about jutsu and not physical strikes?
The jutsu that specifically scale to their body output, right? So, for example, the Rasengan would scale to you naturally. The Rasen Shuriken would not scale to you naturally, because the output of the Rasen Shuriken has like a sharpness cutting capability that doesn't just scale to you. It's similar to like Krillin's Destructo Disc, for example. You know damn well that shit don't scale to Frieza. It's just very sharp, right?
Well, so no, the Destructo Disc does scale to Frieza. I don't know why he would say that. I think I know what he means. I think he's saying that Krillin isn't on Frieza's power level, but that would necessitate the Destructo Disc doesn't scale to him. The Destructo Disc is condensed ki all around, rotating and vibrating at a very high frequency. It can hurt who it scales to. You know how in Bleach I said battles with spiritual beings, the outcome is dependent upon who is using more spiritual energy in that moment? It's specifically for cases like Destructo Disc. Literally. Because it doesn't always come down to who's more powerful. No. Who's using the more powerful attack in that moment. That's why Destructo Disc does scale to Frieza. Because Krillin is using a more powerful technique in that moment. Now, if Frieza were to put all his key energy into defense, maybe it wouldn't work. But Frieza didn't do that. He dodged. So no, Destructo Disc absolutely scales to Frieza. This is funny because I think you can read the thing right below. It's you don't scale to their techniques. That'll take us to a whole nother side conversation. It's funny because we're getting that
because I agree that some ninja don't scale to all of their techniques. I think there's some that are definitely scalable though.
So
I think that a lot of that's going to
I dig it. My disposition on that would be, if we're talking about the highest potency output techniques for any individual ninja that they can actually do, I would say they would scale below them. And it's mainly because they're hurt by things that require much less force. We don't gotta get into that though. Yeah, and because remind you, this whole conversation was I'm trying to get him to a point where we talk about, because he argued Obito had good chakra control, which is where I wanted to keep it, because I wanted him to prove that. I wanted him to prove that him getting the Rinnegan gave him a lot more chakra, cool. And that, what did Obito do with that chakra now that he had it? I needed him to prove that. I wanted him to prove that. That's what I wanted him to do. I kind of want to stick to the Obito Sakura. I kind of want to see where you're going with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that'll take us down a whole nother rabbit hole. If we started with that, that'd be one thing. But we kind of started with Sakura.
I mean, this isn't like a direct part. I'm just saying, I don't feel like there's any correlation between the durability and AP between like the correlation of Obito and Sakura. I don't think like they have contradictions to them that imply such. All I'd say is that like if we see Sakura perform these feats on a capability higher than like people like White Mask Obito, Obito is definitively above all the Akatsuki. I see no reason to believe that Sakura is not just speedblitzing all the Akatsuki.
Okay, so you said if so, and this is my fault because I let him take the conversation away from Obito, who he needs Sakura to scale with /2. I let him take the conversation away from there and go somewhere else. This is the fault of me having fun during the conversation. But here's the thing. I gotta emphasize this too. This isn't really a debate. It is more of a discussion. We don't have any judges. We're not, like I said, we're not holding each other to extreme burdens. We're not like, oh, prove this, prove that. We're not doing that. It's more of a discussion, which is fair, right? So even the title of this is kind of misleading, right? Debate review. It's kind of misleading. But that being said, we have to complete our thoughts. We got to complete our thoughts. If the conversation is Obito has better chakra control, we need to stick there. When I ask, okay, who does what the best in what field? Because the order it was going to go in was Sakura, Raikage, Tsunade, Kiba, maybe Neji, and we were going to ask, does Obito do anything chakra related better than these individuals? And if he does, can you show forth and prove that? That's what the conversation was going to be, right? Because just getting more chakra doesn't necessarily mean that person is putting that more chakra into their strikes. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're putting that more chakra into their feet. It doesn't mean that. It has to be shown. If you're going to tell me, if you're going to assert to me that Obito is hitting as hard as Sakura, when I know for a fact that that is something that is learned over time, that needs to be taught and mastered, you're not going to convince me Obito is hitting harder without showing the similar effects of what that would take or the actual scaling. And you would get the scaling by him punching a fucking Susanoo or something like that and it shattering. That's how you get the scaling for something like that. But just saying he gets more chakra, therefore he gets stronger, therefore he hits harder than Tsunade now, but not Sakura, you don't get to go there. That's not how it works. It is how it worked in this conversation because, like I said, didn't stick to the topic. It's all good, though. You see Sakura definitively perform these feats on people that are stronger than White Mask Obito. You don't see why she just doesn't speed blitz in one. Okay, cool. So,
Akatsuki.
Right, speed blitz and one shot the Akatsuki. Okay, so my issue would still be establishing my issue would still be establishing a hierarchy of power within the series, right? Because from my disposition and perspective, as far as durability, most of these guys are on the same tier. Most of these guys, right? Kaguya has shown some pretty decent durability. Juubi has shown some pretty decent durability. Obito's durability is questionable though. Well, especially, and I can't even say Juubi because no one really hit him with any Sage attacks. Only Guy was landing some attacks.
Just a question for Clay.
Go ahead.
Just a clarification. Are you trying to say Juubi is relative in durability to Kaguya, or are you trying to say they both have decent durability?
Is he relative? Is he relative in durability? Is Juubi relative to Kaguya in durability? I'm gonna have to actually look into that. I don't know if there's evidence to suggest either or, but I'm gonna look into it. It was a good question. But you guys can see how I got completely thrown off because of his answer. The answer to the whole Obito thing and who does what the best field, he took it and said, well, I believe Sakura hits harder than Obito, but I don't believe Obito... Yeah, I believe Sakura hits harder than Obito, but I don't believe he hits... I believe Sakura hits harder than Obito, but Tsunade is weaker, but she has better physical strength. And it was like, I mean, I ain't asked for all that, respectfully, but I got you, you know. To Kaguya. That's a good question. I've never actually considered that one before. I don't know if I can. Got you. I don't know if I can answer that one accurately right now. I might actually have to sit on that one. I don't know if I can be
the way I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think you can answer it. It's like the margin there would be like, well, like the chakra intake itself. Like we know that like when you use too much chakra, you cannot handle it to chakra. You will blow from the inside. This is shown like when Naruto first tries to train the Rasengan, that it burns his hand because he can't physically output that energy. But then when he learns the Rasengan perfectly, he can. Therefore, he scales to it. It's the same thing with like Madara taking in the chakra from Kaguya. Not even like more than half of Kaguya's chakra was inside of Madara, and he just blew up. He couldn't take it because he doesn't have the chakra control enough to take it.
Right. Okay. So for that, I wouldn't say those are necessarily. Say that part one more time. The ending part.
The code awaits your command.
And so you can kind of see how this conversation devolves to less and less about Sakura and more about the fundamentals of the series. And that's why the next time I do this, we're probably going to have to start with the fundamentals of the series. I don't even want to talk about Sakura unless we understand the fundamentals of the series. I mean, honestly, I really don't. It really depends on how the conversation goes, though. But I'm going to try my best to, like, stick these things down. Chakra is not stats. Output chakra is not stats. Output chakra is not AP. Those are all different things.
Oh, yeah, it's irrelevant. Like, he doesn't necessarily have to have a bigger chakra pool to control a large amount of chakra.
He doesn't have to have a bigger chakra pool to control a large amount of chakra. Okay, so for the Naruto instance and the Kaguya instance, got you. For the Naruto instance and the Kaguya instance, both of these are more so examples of internal failure more than external durability. I would compare it to something like water in a glass, or even you can even take the amount of blood that flows through our body. You wouldn't say that a steel tank that holds like 50 gallons of water versus a glass tank that holds 200 liters of water. You wouldn't say this. Okay, yeah, so that was my fault. I said 50 gallons versus 200 liters. Yes, the 200 liters is less, but the example was to demonstrate that, you know, a wider glass doesn't necessarily mean more durable. But yeah, I pretty much say that. The glass one is more durable just because it holds more water. You would say the glass tank has a higher capacity to hold more water. Same thing with blood in our body. You wouldn't say the amount of blood in our body is something we scale to because we're necessarily taking all the blood in the body. I mean, like, no, we're not doing that, right? We understand that Madara and Kaguya. Okay.
Just clarification. You said more water, but did you not say like 2 liters for the glass one and like 2 gallons for the steel one, or am I mistracking?
No. I said more water, but the point was to highlight the durability, right? We would say the steel one is still more durable than the one that has more water, which is the glass one.
Well, yeah, that's because the stipulation there already like presupposes the durability, because steel has a significant durability increase. The problem is that like when we don't have either of those two variables, when you just have a tank of this and a tank of that, naturally the one with more water that is able to handle that amount of energy versus one that has the same amount of water and doesn't handle that amount of energy, then yeah, it would give us a proper analogy. Then we would now definitively say, yeah, one is steel and one is glass. When you presuppose the two properties, steel and glass, you're kind of missing the point of the analogy there.
Okay, real quick. Again, this is probably my fault because the whole point of this analogy is to highlight that we don't know why Madara is exploding and why Kaguya isn't. We can surmise that it's due to chakra capacity, right? But capacity doesn't inherently transfer to durability. So the example is actually accurate and makes perfect sense. It's logically sound. It makes perfect sense. It follows, right? Something more durable can hold less water than something that holds more water and still be more durable. Whereas the thing that holds more water can be less durable. The analogy fits, right? So the thing is this: we're both missing the why. I'm just the one giving an explanation as to what could be happening or what could be true. So are you saying that we need to know which one is stealing glass between Madara and Kaguya? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, like, the whole stealing glass is the burden we need to prove. I'm comparing Madara and Kaguya as stealing glass, and I'm saying with the amount of chakra intake that Madara takes, the fact that he blows up proves it. It's like Kaguya owns more chakra. She's able to intake way more chakra than Madara, right? So with those two variables, in fact, and the fact that we have no other variables, we would just say that by default, Madara is the glass, and by default, Kaguya is the steel.
So yeah, like that sounds good until we ask why is Kaguya able to take in more chakra? And then how does this implicate Chinchuriki as kids? How does this implicate them? And then if we're talking about durability, and I didn't get into this because, like I said, you don't got to play your whole hand. If we're talking about durability, then the Chinchuriki shouldn't be getting hurt by anyone with significantly less chakra. That shouldn't be the case. Should it?
Because she doesn't blow up while having more chakra.
Right. So, but this still wouldn't answer the problem to external durability. This whole scenario was to just kind of run through internal failure versus external durability. This wouldn't prove that Kaguya can necessarily take more damage externally, right? Because this is all about chakra capacity. And it would really just be about the pressure built up from that chakra, which you also really couldn't replicate in any given single attack unless it was like, it would really just be about the pressure built up from that chakra. What does that mean? Well, for Madara to be taking damage from the chakra or be having a significant effect enacted on him, the chakra is going to have to continue to swell, right? It's going to have to swell. He's going to have to get bigger. Then the pressure kicks in. That's the damage. It's not the chakra itself. It is the chakra itself, but it's the pressure that's really going to be like hurting him if he were to explode and stuff like that. What we need to figure out is why a smaller body Kaguya is not swelling from that chakra. We don't know. There's no answer. There's literally no answer except she has a higher capacity. She can hold more chakra volume. But chakra volume has never been equated to durability. Ever. And the reason I can talk this shit so well is because I know what I'm talking about. I'm prepared for this. Man. Really focused or something like that. Oh, that makes sense.
Well, that's the point of internal durability. If you're able to withstand something blowing up from the insides, if your insides are weaker, then obviously you can withstand something from the outside.
Oof, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Because well, no, I'm like, even in general, doesn't Kakashi specifically say you can't train your internals to survive certain things? That was the whole point of the whole Gentle Fist.
Yeah.
So
early statements of Naruto get contradicted, but early statements of Naruto do get contradicted. Kishimoto even said that guns would be a problem for the Narutoverse, but then they proceeded to give pain missiles. So there's early statements that are consistent. Same with Oda saying that Enel's lightning is 200 million volts when that's not even enough to kill a human. It's like authors make mistakes. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and I'm not even saying it is necessarily a mistake that was written or anything like that. But the thing I'm really harping on though is that I don't see internal failure or like a capacity issue as a durability issue. I don't think they're the same. I don't think they're the same issue. I don't think they're causing the same things. I don't think they're the same type of damages going on. Even with Naruto's Rasen Shuriken. Oh, go ahead.
No, you can continue. I'll cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. Yeah, when I get cut off, I lose my train of thought.
It started yesterday. What was it? Right.
Oh, man. Listen, bro, I be thinking so damn fast sometimes, or I'll have like a pre-buttal in mind, especially when I'm live too, because I know I have to be more critical than normal if I'm like just regular talking. When I get interrupted, bro, my whole train of thought sometimes just goes away. And I'm like, all right, what was I saying? Go ahead. You want to just go ahead. You got the floor. What are you going to say? What you going to say to me? Go ahead. You got the floor. So I find that hilarious. I'm going to work on that, though.
The whole internal thing. If it's like a whole, I don't know what you're really trying to argue. If you're just trying to say internal durability doesn't scale to outer, I'm aware. But the fact is that if the internal is able to survive, meaning a lower tier is something to survive, then obviously a higher tier would survive. It's like if I were to punch you, right? Let's say my punch scaled relative to you. Obviously, your organs would have to be relative to the outer layer in order for you to survive. Because let's be honest, a planetary punch to someone in the face, right? Maybe they can tank it, right? But you wouldn't say their brain is now going to die because the shockwave goes into their brain. That never happens, especially in Naruto. It's why I feel like the whole like Rinnegan arguments for most things are like really stupid. But you know, I digress.
It's so. I'm not gonna lie. When you said that, I heard it almost sounded like you were batting for both sides to me. Can you go ahead and repeat that so I know I'm not making a mistake?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, the whole like flaw with like the whole internal durability thing is that internal durability scales below your outer durability.
Yeah. Let me go back actually, because this is what I was saying in the beginning, where like he'll give examples, but for me, it's going out of scope of what of what I personally need to hear or whatever. So it was like, all right, that didn't really help me. Say it again. And this time I'll listen for what you're saying and not what I'm listening for type thing.
Brain. That never happens. Especially in Naruto.
Right.
It's why I feel like the whole like Rinnegan for you to survive. Because let's be honest.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you can continue. I'll cut you off.
Oh, yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, the whole like internal thing. If it's like a whole I don't know what you're really trying to argue. If you're just trying to say like internal durability doesn't scale to outer, I'm aware. But the fact is that if the
so wait, in like that part, he says internal durability doesn't scale to outer. I'm aware, but
internal is able to survive, meaning a lower tier is something to survive. Then obviously a high.
But if a lower tier is able to survive, that means a higher tier is able to survive. So like, let me use their words. Does this not presuppose that Kaguya is somehow on a higher tier? And then again, what would that mean? What does that mean in Naruto? What is a higher tier? What are we using to quantify that status? What measurable standard do we have to say higher tier? Are you using just chakra? Because he exploded from chakra, therefore she's a higher tier because she didn't explode from chakra? Well, does that make her better? Because I can tell you that Madara has a higher chance against Naruto and Sasuke than Kaguya does. Why? Because Kaguya needed Zetsu the entire time. So, like, what is a higher tier?
Tier would survive. It's like if I were to punch you, right? Let's say my punch scaled relative to you. Obviously, your organs would have to be relative to the outer layer in order for you to survive. Because let's be honest, a planetary punch to someone in the face, right? Maybe they can tank it, right? But you wouldn't say their brain is now going to die.
And like, that's assuming that punches actually work like that. No, you wouldn't have to be like this analogy. Hold up.
Punch you, right? Let's say my punch scaled relative to you. Obviously, your organs would have to be relative to the outer layer in order for you to survive. Because
if you punch me, my organs have to scale relative to the outer layer in order for me to survive. All right. That depends on how hard your punch is, where you actually hit me, and all these other factors. When people throw punches, even humans, when they throw punches and they're like higher, like they don't scale, let's just say that, right? I'm way, way stronger. I'm not hitting your organs through your skin. Not really. So if we're relative, you're definitely not doing that.
To be honest, a planetary punch to someone in the face, right? Maybe they can tank it, right? But you wouldn't say
take it easy, John. Thanks for stopping by, bro.
That never happens, especially in Naruto. It's why I feel like the whole like Rinnegan arguments for most things are like really stupid. But you know, I digress.
It's so. I'm not gonna lie. When you said that, I heard it almost sounded like you were batting for both sides to me. Can you go ahead and repeat that so I know I'm not making a mistake?
Yeah, no problem. So basically, the whole like flaw with like the whole internal durability thing is that internal durability scales below your outer durability by default. So when you say, well, these characters, I'm not saying you're saying, so when you get sad or whatever, it's like oh, the organs don't like fill up. It's like, well, when you're getting punched by a strong attack, the shockwave of that punch is going to go to your internal durability regardless if you have some type of ability that negates the outer durability, right? Like you're going to have this punch like damage you regardless. So to say, well, the organs don't increase is like saying, well, okay, then every time Naruto fights, he should be dead then. Like,
okay,
you can't say regenerative ability.
I think I see what you're saying. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So basically, let me just see if I got this right. You're saying it would be the case that if, for example, Sakura were throwing a punch at, let's say, like Konohamaru obviously can't survive Sakura's punch. So that would also mean that his internal organs would suffer either more or not more, but maybe just as much damage, and that would kill him as well. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying like if Sakura were to punch Konohamaru, like no matter what, if it's durability negation or not durability negation, it would just kill Konohamaru.
Right, and it would affect his organs because the shockwave would travel. And you're saying that doesn't always happen.
What I'm saying is that like if the organs were so unbelievably weak, then by law, literally every single punch that's relative to the opponent would just be killing them. But that's not true in Naruto. Naruto like tanks a Chidori from Sasuke. Before the Chidori pierced right through him. And that's because his durability was lower. But his durability's gotten so high that to his head, which is again, sometimes the skull can be a weak part of your body, right? To his head, He's able to tank it, not take a single bit of damage from the Chidori.
It's a good feat.
Proves that his organs are way above the scale. Like, it's just very obvious.
Got you. Well, I mean, for that one, I would honestly say it's just a different type of damage overall, piercing versus blunt force. It's going to have different effects and stuff like that. I think I understand your point overall. I don't know if I fully agree with it, only because, and this is, so with me, bro, here's the thing. I truly believe most of the Naruto characters in the verse don't get above small town level, if I'm being completely honest with you, right? And the reason is because it's a difference in, number one, the power system. Number two, how I do AP, right? I don't believe most of these guys scale to their energy. Well, yeah, I don't believe these guys scale to their energy, and I don't believe that a lot of them are throwing out high AP attacks, and I don't believe that their strikes, their physical strikes, their taijutsu scales with their ninjutsu. So when you're saying Obito scales above, when you're saying Obito scales, White Mask Obito scales above Sakura and all the Akatsuki and all these other things, right?
No, White Mask Obito scales below Sakura, White Mask Obito scales above all the Akatsuki. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, White Mask Obito scales below Sakura. So then you would have Sakura. Okay, cool. We'll just use Sakura then to make it simple. So yeah, well, no, Sakura actually doesn't work because Sakura actually does hit hard. I don't think Obito hits as hard as Sakura. I don't think most people hit as hard as Sakura. That's kind of what I was saying when we're talking about people in stats and stuff like that. We look for I look for the very best. That's why I kind of start off this whole query. Do you think Obito hits as hard as Sakura? And then you kind of went on as well. His jutsu or his techniques could probably get that high, but I think you said his physical strikes don't get that high. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, the physical stats don't inherently. Sorry, repeat that real quick.
Yeah. Because I was saying, I think you were saying initially that Obito isn't as physically strong as Sakura, but he might have some techniques that could like get on her level of AP. In a nutshell.
I don't think. Level of AP. I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think. No, not at all. Talking about like techniques, no. I think hacks could probably have a problem for Sakura in a certain situation. I don't think overall it's about AP, right? And the reason why I say that is because like when we talk about AP and fiction, we're gonna be talking about like how the energy output it takes to cause like a said destruction, not inherently destructive capability, but like an extension of that, right? So for example, if I punch a wall versus I punch a wall and fragment it, right? If I punch the wall and only do a crack, obviously like the joule output's gonna be lower. If I fragment it, it's gonna be higher because of like the dispersion of the energy, right? But when it comes to like like you saying they have small town AP, it confuses me because we have characters like the Ten-Tails who have like Jutsu bombs that are shown to like explode things way past just mountain ranges.
Right.
So if we have these energy blasts that are able to do catastrophic damage to up to vaporization levels of damage, I don't understand how we get small town level.
Got you. I can go into that for you. Let me ask you this: what has more total energy, a forest fire or a vase of lava? Y'all know I like to talk about AP, right? Y'all know I was just geeking to get into this conversation, right? Y'all know I could not wait to talk about some good old AP. By the way, just keeping track in case anyone's not keeping up, we got here because he was essentially saying that you scale to your chakra, and I already know the implications of that. So to negate that, I have to say you don't scale to your chakra, you don't scale to your ninjutsu, your ninjutsu doesn't scale to your physicals and all these other things. They're town level, at best. At best.
A vase of lava?
Mm-hmm.
Like just like a small little vase.
Yeah, small little vase.
I feel like this is vague. Like I feel it's because you're comparing heat energy. It's like when we're talking about energy, we're talking about like the force itself. Like so when you talk about like AP, you talk about tons of TNT joules. But it's really weird to compare heat joules to force joules.
It can be converted. So it's really just it's really just to explain where I'm going with this. You can answer the question just faithfully. It's no trick or anything.
Yeah. Like again, if I were to apply context and say, well, like this vase like smashed or whatever and burned a hole, or this forest fire happened in like a second, then yeah, the forest fire. I'd say that because like the forest fire like destroyed more environmental things, causing more joules to happen. Right. If I'm wrong on that, you can fact check me.
No.
That's just off the top of my head.
No. I agree with you. The forest fire should have higher total energy, right? Cool. Let me ask you this: what has higher total energy, a hurricane or a lightning bolt?
Oh yeah, obviously a lightning bolt.
Total energy? Not gonna lie.
If you're talking about
does it?
That's why I said.
I'm not gonna lie. That shit made me like, huh? I was like, higher total. The lightning bolt has higher total energy. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. But a lightning bolt has higher total energy than a hurricane. That doesn't sound right. I looked it up. The hurricane has millions of times the total energy. So I was right, of course. But like, it was just funny. I was like, total energy? But yeah, that was funny. Let me see.
If a hurricane lasted for a day, then obviously it's going to have more energy.
Okay, cool.
That's like an assumption of like, collectively getting energy.
Okay, yeah.
Like, when I think about AP, I think about something done in a short time frame. Obviously, if you give Deku a lot of time, he can destroy a planet, but it'll probably take a fucking year. But simply destroying a planet doesn't make you planetary in that regard. That's why when I talk about AP, I'm talking about joules. So like it's J/CC. So it's like energy in a certain amount of time. It would never be like 10 minutes. That's not what you're usually.
So when he initially brought up JCC, I was like, okay, so he might know something. But the very fact that his answers to the total energy questions let me know he didn't know what I knew.
I completely agree with you. I'll use another example because I just intuitively and just from how I scale, I would have assumed the lightning bolt had less total energy, but I could be wrong about that. Let me think of something else.
Unless you're referring, maybe I mistracked. Like initial energy, yes, but if we were saying a hurricane naturally lasting like a day, like hurricanes usually do, then yeah, hurricane have more total energy.
Okay, cool. We'll go with that. Right. So you said that the forest fire has more total energy, and that the hurricane we kind of just agreed has more total energy, right? You said something in your explanation of punching the wall. You said if I punch a wall and I hit the wall. Oh, hold up. Let me get her up here real quick. Luna Ursa, just let me instead go back and forth before you say anything. You said that if I punch a wall and it doesn't crack, but then I punch the wall and it cracks, you said you would be outputting more energy because you said the dispersion, right?
Yeah, the dispersion of energy. So the output itself causes like a different type of damage.
Gotcha.
Fragmentation, polarization, etc.
Absolutely. I'm with all that stuff. Now, here's where we actually have to be as accurate and consistent as possible. You wouldn't be fragmenting the wall because dispersion of energy, quite the opposite. You would be fragmenting the wall because condensing of energy. That's what would be that's what would be causing the fragmentation. The reason is because Exactly. So if we're both punching the wall with the same amount of volume, but I have more condensed energy, I necessarily have a higher AP. Now let me go back to the vase of lava. The forest fire has a greater DC and a greater total energy.
Looking back, that last one almost didn't make sense, but I think we all got it. I said if we punch the wall with the same amount of volume, but I have more condensed energy, that's going to depend on a lot of different factors that go unspoken. But we all got the gist.
But the vase of lava is more potent by far on a joule per centimeter cubic basis. It's going to have more energy compacted per cubic centimeter than the forest fire.
Necessarily.
The lightning bolt. The lightning bolt. I got you. The lightning bolt is also going to have more energy per cubic centimeter than the wide range hurricane that's going through the town and stuff like that. So when I say Naruto characters don't really get past town level AP, I'm really basing it off of the energy I can't say the word condension. That's so weird. I'm really just basing it off of the energy and how condensed it is. And based off of the feats that are shown, I got real quick. Let me just cap it off, and then I'm gonna let you go, bro.
No, I'm just agreeing.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Gotcha. Yeah. So like when we take a thing like a Biju bomb, right? I think it's 27,000 cubic centimeters to vaporize rock. Now the Biju bomb has a volume.
By the way, I'm nice as shit. I did not come prepared for this live. I just knew that, just because
the entire mountain, right? And it destroys the entire mountain. So you get the calc, and this is what VSBW does. They'll get the calc. The calc is correct. The total energy is correct. But the one thing they forgot to do, and I can't even say they forgot to do it, what actually happened was they make it very clear in their versions of AP, they do not count volume. They don't care. They don't care about the AoE of an attack, right? But the AoE is important because it tells us how potent the attack is. Let me ask you this, Seb, real quick. Just hypothetical, real quick. I got like a 2-part question. What do you think? So let me ask you this: if a Biju bomb hit a mountain and it didn't destroy the mountain, what would you say? Like the mountain was completely there, still intact. What would you say?
Within context, if they're aiming at the mountain and they're intending to destroy the mountain, it doesn't destroy it.
Yes.
The Biju bomb's weak.
The Biju bomb's what?
Our house is somewhere else now.
Today, we're gonna survive. Summer ends on Oak Street.
Denise! I think it might be a way home.
He just hit a T-Rex and the T-Rex moved.
Rated PG-13, now playing.
Create stunning, ultra creative images. It's generated by Nano Banana 2.
The Biju bomb will be weak, yes.
So no, but like, take me through your process of how you would derive AP from this. Like, what would this actually mean for the Biju bomb?
Right, it would just mean that like the area of effect doesn't harm it, right? It's the same way you could say, well, you can the Biju bomb is stated to destroy the planet, but it doesn't destroy the planet. It's like, well, yeah, it's attacking like other things besides the planet, right? So if we were to hypothetically say a Biju bomb aimed directly toward the planet, which is the most efficient way to destroy a planet, it would destroy a planet. If the statement is given that it will destroy the planet, like I don't see a contradiction with that. If you're just referring to like environmental attacks, that's different. And just to harp on that, I do agree with the whole Joule point.
Okay,
that's why I was like confused with the question itself, because obviously over time it would change. But I'm confused as to what calc you're referring to when you say VSBW doesn't account for volume, because with all the calcs I use, they account for volume and kinetic energy. That's the entire point of the calc.
So do you get your calcs from VSBW?
No, fuck VSBW.
Okay. So
I do my own calcs. I'll just say that right now.
You do your own calcs?
Either I do my own calcs or someone else does my calcs, yeah.
Okay, and you account for joules per cubic centimeter for AP?
Oh yeah, all of it, yeah.
For all of it? So where do you have the Biju bombs at?
Naturally, it depends on the arc. So, for example, Six Tails Biju bomb when he's like that's island level, because we see it like destroy. He actually.
I'm not gonna lie. This part was funny for me, bro. Cause I was like, we can't be getting the same numbers. We can't be getting the same numbers if you're accounting for joules per cubic centimeter, and I'm accounting for joules per cubic centimeter for the Biju bombs. We can't be getting the same numbers. It's impossible. So That was funny. We'll get into why he said that, though. I'm pretty sure I figured out why he said that, but we'll get into that.
Vaporize multiple mountain structures in the span of a couple seconds, that joule output would be island level. If we're talking near the war, when Naruto knocks back the Bijou bombs, that would be up to country level, like higher. And then towards the 10 tail, it gets to continent.
Okay, how did you get at the island and country level? Just real quickly, Ursa. Just real quick. Because I gotta hear this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Excuse.
Bless you.
Okay, so I get it. Thank you. So I get into island and country because of the output itself, based on maybe I misspoke, not the dispersion of energy itself, but just based on how the rubble in like the rock itself dispersed, right?
Okay, so I got you.
Fragments, it would be lower. If it's vaporization, it would be higher. Right. If I vaporize a mountain, you're likely getting island level. Let's be honest.
I got you. So again, Luna, Ursa, just mute up real quick. So okay, cool, because that's kind of what I was thinking was going on here. If you're vaporizing a mountain, I think that's 27,000 joules or 25. It's either 25 to 27, something like that. If you're vaporizing it with that big AOE, you're necessarily going to have lower joules per centimeter cubed. You're necessarily going to have lower AP as a result. To go back to the other point real quick, because the reason I asked you that hypothetical of if the Bijou bomb did nothing to the mountain is to say, if you were to take the energy of the Bijou bomb that you just shot that didn't do shit to the mountain, right, and you compressed it into a beam attack. Let's just assume that the mountain has a durability of like 500, and that the Bijou bomb had an output, the first Bijou bomb, right, the one that encapsulates the whole mountain. Let's just assume it has an output of like 1,000, but it's as big or bigger than, like 2 times bigger than the mountain. Necessarily, all those joules that are hitting the mountain are going to be lower than the mountain, so it's not going to do anything to the mountain. It's only when you compress that attack and get all that energy to a fine.
If you're a new viewer and you don't understand this, I have about maybe 2 full-on. I got about 1.5 lives on AP. What I'm basically saying here is if we have something with a durability of, let's just use this example, of 500, and we have an attack maybe 2 to 4 times the volume or size of the thing being hit, and let's just say that's at like 1,000, right? The entirety of the attack is going to carry the total energy, but the total energy will not be higher than the the joules per cubic centimeter will not be higher than the 500 that's hitting the thing. Meaning, in this scenario with the Bijou bomb, it's not going to do any damage to the mountain because there's not enough energy behind it per cubic centimeter to affect the mountain to any significant degree, is basically what I'm saying. If you hear, well, we'll get to it when he does the fireball jutsu thing. I'll wait till that, actually.
Point where it's going to pierce through the mountain, right? This is what I'm saying happens in Naruto. For example, you just said that the Bijou bombs are country level, continental, and island. But that's only based off of what was destroyed in the total energy. If we get that energy and put it in the joules per centimeter cubed, which is the most accurate way to get AP, because it's energy condension, why the hell can't I say this word today?
Condension. We're making that an official word, part of the abstract section, bro. So you can start saying it if you want to. Yeah. Condension. Noun. The process or result of having condensed, compressed, or reduced something from a previous state into a more concentrated form. You can quote me on that. All right, we're going to coin that word in this community, condension, because I struggled too damn long to say it to not have that, a part of the repertoire now. So condension. It's a noun, and it is the process or result of having condensed, compressed, or reduced something from a previous state into a more concentrated form. And the way it's more so used, kind of like how I was trying to use it here, the condension, I didn't want to say the condensing because I was speaking of an event that already happened. But condensing is an active process in the moment, condensing the energy, right? But I was speaking to something that has already happened. So I wanted to refer to that in the past tense, but I didn't know how to say the goddamn word condensation. And condensation just sounds weird, right? You learn about the you learn about the cloud formation, the water cycle, evaporation, condensation. I was like, condensation ain't the right word. No, we're gonna stick with condension. So yeah, you can take that word to the bank. Ab-Stract and his community members can use it. It's sanctioned. There you go.
That's so weird. Because the energy is condensed, I'll just say it like that. You'll get more accurate values, number one, and an actual grasp on the level of the attacks that are happening. To go back to the main point now, just real quick, to go back to the main point, I do not believe that Obito has any high AP attacks on that level, as far as like town level higher. I haven't seen it. AP, right? I'm not talking about total energy. I'm talking about AP. And even if we go to total energy, most of these people don't scale to the Bijou bombs. But go ahead.
Yeah, let me just calculate. So for when all the calcs that I use were referred to joules per second, and the reason, sorry,
joules per second,
the joule CC. The reason why, my fault, the joule CC. Right? So the reason why I still apply that is because when you take kinetic energy into account while talking about the volume, you're not just talking about the not condensation, but condension of the attack.
Condension, that's the word.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. You had to say it for me, my brain to fucking catch up. I was like, condension.
Yeah, but it also depends on the area of effect that, like, what is the island or the mountain's getting affected with, right?
I agree.
You're told directly that, like, the Bijou Bomb is just like the Rasengan. You're literally condensing the chakra. So I agree. If you condense it even more into a beam, then yeah, it would pierce through the mountain and not vaporize it completely. But that's like the whole like gist of it. It's like, sure, the beam itself can be stronger in like really small areas, but they're still the same joules naturally. It's like the total energy. You're just saying total energy, but total energy would mean over time. But it's one blast condensed, and then it vaporizes something in a very small time frame. That's what that means.
I wouldn't.
So that wasn't necessarily wrong, but it doesn't address the point of AP. He like, I think he understood it, but then he also like kind of goes back a little bit, right? He admits that the compressed attack will pierce through the mountain, but he also didn't say vaporize. Because listen, if the AoE of the Bijou Bomb, as big as it is vaporizing it, then the fucking beam would have a higher AP than that. That's the point, right? Let's say the Bijou Bomb goes up against steel. The amount of steel that is a mountain range formation. I don't think let's just say that the Bijou Bomb can't destroy it with its big ass AoE. You know what version will? The condensed one. The one that has went through condension. That version's going to at least be able to punch through the steel, because the joules per cubic centimeter is necessarily packed in more tightly, which means every cubic centimeter is getting more energy, stronger piercing power, stronger punch through power.
Total energy is over time, right? If you take an atom bomb and it explodes in the middle of the city, of course the explosion has to travel, but that's still one instance of the atom bomb explosion, and we would still be able to get a total energy for that atom bomb, right? The impact of it.
Different.
Oh, say again.
I think explosions are I think explosion calcs are way different than just KE calcs, because explosions, for example, they like cause radiation that allows for people to die. Well, that wouldn't be conventional if it was for the natural explosion itself. So when we say
I agree with that.
It's an explosion. I wouldn't say the explosion itself is what scales you. I think like the literal like focal point of the attack, pushing into something and vaporizing it, is what scales it.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
So yeah, about the kinetic energy point. So kinetic energy as AP, I'm not really a fan of that either. And a lot of it comes down to the effect that the kinetic energy is actually going to have. Oh, that's a really... like, I stopped there. That's crazy. Yeah. A lot of it's going to come down to the effect that the kinetic energy actually has. And I really honestly don't even think this is a point for Bijou Bombs for the most part, because mostly Bijou Bombs are a encapsulating energy bomb of an explosion, right? So when they explode, it's literally a dome of energy covering everything within that perimeter, or within that circumference, radius, whatever you want to call it, circle, sphere, right? Are there shockwaves? Sure. But they're really like just after shockwaves. And guess what? People can survive the shockwaves. People can survive the shockwaves of explosions, nukes even, from certain distances away. What we can't survive is the heat. We can't survive that heat energy. We can survive a shockwave, get on the ground, open your mouth, and cover your ears. We can survive a shockwave. It doesn't always kill you. Why? Because that shockwave even has its own total energy and AP spread across it. It doesn't always kill you. That's why the shockwave can break glass, but your body will, like, aside from maybe some hearing problems and stuff like that, you'll be relatively fine.
The last word you said, not the vaporization. You said the what of the attack?
Focal points. So like the original like part of the start of the attack. As in like as soon as it comes into contact, that's when it does some bullshit. That's what I'm referring to.
Okay, and you're saying so are you saying that when Bijou Bombs explode, you're saying the shockwave is causing the damage?
Yeah, I think like the radiation.
But not the energy of the chakra?
The energy of the chakra, that depends on the explosion. Like if we're talking naturally, like a Rasengan explosion, then no, it all scales to each other. But if we're talking about like the Ten Tails Cataclysm, which if you know, that's just him screaming, right? That's a way different output of just like shockwave than just like let's say an explosion.
I agree with that. I was going to go somewhere else. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to touch your claim on the Obito thing. So we say like Obito hasn't done any feats on this. All you're asking me is to say, well, he doesn't do any DC feats on this. Well, we do calc AP from destructive capability feats. We also don't need to directly do math to calc AP from just fighting, right? So like if we have characters who are able to tank this attack, right, that's previously able to destroy a mountain and vaporize it even, right? We would say that their durability skills to this level. If we see Obito,
this is what I wanted him to go into. This is what I wanted to like really talk about. Can you demonstrate that characters that can you demonstrate that characters on this level of Bijou Bomb stuff can actually output these levels in their attacks, can survive attacks on that level? That's what I wanted to go into.
Well, they do internal bleeding, breaking niggas' bones from it, right? Then we would obviously assume that they do scale to that level of AP, despite the fact they haven't destroyed anything. It's the same reason why, like, you know, when Obito gets his Sharingan ability, and then he punches a wall and barely destroys it? You wouldn't say it's wall level, obviously. You would say that he's higher than wall level, but his DC is lower than wall level.
Oh, wait. Are you talking about the Obito that, like, got his limbs crushed and he was recovering at Madara's lair? That Obito?
No. That, I'm referring to one who just saw Rin die. He ran to punch a wall, and he didn't destroy the wall.
I was in fact right about this too. That does not happen when he says it happens. Well, you know what? Let me check. Let me check. I'll be honest. Let me check. I should be right about this. I should be more than right about this. Obito. You know what? It's cool. I'll do it like this real quick. Because I have it in here. What chapter are we looking for? Give me 1 second, y'all. Oh, by the way, we'll probably be starting this presentation next week. Yeah, I think we're ready. We're ready, spaghetti. We'll probably be starting the chakra scaling problem in Naruto next week. Come on now. Oh, I did it again, Tay. Come on now. Just fact checking when Obito punches the wall, because I'm more than certain he's talking about when he's escaping Madara's lair. Oh, this is the end of the presentation. Okay, cool. Alright, where is it at? No, not there. Okay, here we go. Should be... No. Oh, here we are. Okay, chapter 604. 604. If that happens 604, then I'm probably looking for 6, maybe 08. Okay, cool. So we really just need to check when Rin dies. Does he punch a wall? Goes to Madara. No. Yeah. So I'm correct. Yeah, I'm correct. Cool. No need to confirm my thing because we all know Obito punches the wall to escape from Madara's lair. If you don't know, go back and read Naruto. Nah. Alright. I'm off this. Let's go back to the video. Where's my YouTube at? Where is my YouTube at, bro? Where's my YouTube at, bro? Alright, there we go. Whopping 142 slides, bro. Yeah. It's 142, probably plus another 40 at the least. Like I said, I have like maybe 3 more things to cover.
Is after he killed all the Shinobi or before?
Yes. Pretty sure it's after.
Okay, so because I was just reviewing that for an upcoming video I'm making. I just want to make sure.
If it's before, I don't think it changes the argument, but I'm pretty sure it's after.
It's not necessarily that it changes it, because the claim was that I wouldn't say he's wall level. The thing about it is this: I in fact probably would say he's wall level or lower, depending on like based off that showing. And I have to be honest with you, I would say he's wall level or lower. Say it again.
Yeah, obviously I agree. If we had
okay,
only off of this showing, yeah, right.
Well, okay,
only off of this showing is the case. But if there's other showings, but he perceives to have a lower DC feat, that doesn't inherently downscale his AP.
So, but like we have to contextualize when and what version of Obito we're talking about in that moment. In that moment, does he?
So like that was Seth being slick, man. He's trying to be slick. He's like, yeah. I'd call it wall level too if that's the only thing we had. And then Ab-Stract got to say, well, Seb, that is the only thing we have. What has he done more impressive? And then we get into this Jonin tier shit.
Have anything more impressive than him punching the wall?
Yeah, like even like himself as like a shinobi, he's able to like fight Jonin level combatants. Jonin level combatants are stated to be way above.
No, it's not. Listen, it's not.
That is one thing I have to stop. I have to control my. I gotta control my. What's it called? Whatever that is, facial expressions, demeanor, debate etiquette, because I could go into debate etiquette. It could. I got to control that, though. There's no need for that.
Bro, I hear a lot of these same things, and I'm like, everyone thinks like this. It's really interesting, but go ahead. I won't cut you off. Go ahead. Jonin level.
Yeah, so these like Jonin level combatants would be scaling above like people in the tuning exams, for example. So this would entail people like was it Sasuke, people like Gaara before transformation. They're able to do things like break apart trees, walls. We know Sasuke's able to vaporize the ground, getting to city block level with his fireball jutsu alone in chapter 3. So we say, well, these Jonin level obviously scale way above people like Sasuke. They'll be way above wall level, and Obito's able to beat their ass.
Right. So
scale way above that.
I got you. And so my problem with this Jonin level thing, right? Naruto is not like Bleach. It's not like Yu Yu Hakusho. It's not like any other series that has a measurable standard system of power, right? Jonin level, yes, we can understand that the ranks have something to do with strength, vaguely something, but they're not wholly and solely based on strength. This is why I asked that beginning question of does Naruto have what does it mean to be stronger, right? This goes back to the whole stronger conversation, because we understand that you don't have to be a Jonin to beat a Jonin, certainly. You don't have to be a Jonin to have Jonin qualities, certainly not again. So when we're saying Jonin level, it's really an unquantifiable type thing. If you wanted to do a baseline, you could maybe do a baseline, but for the most part, Jonin level isn't really something you can pin down. So when you're saying Obito is stronger than all these Jonin, well, first off, I don't even like talking about no name characters. If you have no name, in my head, you actually have no feats. This is why I'm like crashing out people like, yo, you're still hyping up Madara fighting these no name, nameless shinobi. It's not impressive. You're only as good as the people that you're actually fighting against. You're only as good as people that actually have scaling and calcs to go with, in my opinion. Obito fighting random Miss Jonin is not something that I would ever like use for a scaling point. But go ahead. I want to. Yeah.
So the stipulation of me saying Jonin wasn't to.
Ooh, these ads are killing me, man.
Besides, like, strength and speed, because obviously we're talking about strength and speed. So when I say Jonin level, that's what I'm referring to. When they say, for example, the ranks itself, we get like a direct comparison to how ranks are disposed in the tuning exams. We see the proctors when they view a Gaara able to do physical destructive feats, right? Not inherently hacks, just physical destructive feats with his sand. They say, well, this is more than what a journeyman level ninja could do. Journeyman in Japanese means tuning, right. So he would be higher than tuning level naturally, right? So if we see a stipulation there for physical strength, right, and then we see comparisons to like elite Jonin, who aren't inherently physically stronger than Jonin, but the reason they're considered elite Jonin is because they have better hacks they can handle with other characters, right? We would say, well, there's probably a reason for why someone is ranked a Jonin, unless like you can give me a reason as to why like these no-name shinobi would be a Jonin for like specifically Genjutsu or something like that wouldn't have anything to do with physical stats. I see no reason to believe that like simply beating the fuck out of like.
See, and the thing is this: he mentioned physical stats, but he also mentioned Gaara using a sand technique. What are Gaara's physical stats? Not his sand techniques. What are his physical stats? What are Sasuke's physical stats? Not his fireball. His physical stats. And then we've already conceded, or we've already agreed that everything comes down to chakra control. So again, you wouldn't really have a baseline how you're thinking. No. Mike Guy can one-shot Jonin. Yes, he can. Unless you're going to say all the sound ninja there doing the invasion of the Konoha Crush were tuning and genin. Grown men tuning and genin. Unless you're going to say they're all tuning and genin. Mike Guy one-shot a fucking Jonin.
High level Jonin wouldn't at the very least get you on the level of like above wall level, I think.
Yeah, so it comes down to a couple things. Most of these ninja aren't striking higher than wall level AP. That's number one. And you can even go look at Mike Guy fighting the sound ninja, where he punches the sound ninja and the wall cracks, and then he has to put more force into the punch to actually push him through the wall. That's actually a wall level feat. As funny as it is, because he punches the guy through the wall, that's actually like a wall level feat by calc, right?
I think the difference between that's what I mean by calc. It's like by calc, that's just scaling your DC, which yes, by extension scales your AP, but we know not moderate awful. My guy isn't intending to break the wall; he's intending to like beat the sound ninja.
He's trying to kill him.
Right? So like the intention here doesn't really matter, right? Because a sound ninja's sneak attacking Naruto. Guy is trying to stop it. Guy ends up punching the guy to the wall. I'm pretty sure Guy tried to kill him in that punch or do as much damage as he could. So the effect is the effect. We're going to get that no matter what. So whether Guy had intentions to hit the wall, not hit the wall or whatever, it hit the wall and we got the feat we got. He didn't punch him through the wall, though, not on his first hit. No, he had to hit him to the wall, then apply more force and pressure to punch him through the wall. And it is a wall-level feat by calc. We will see that.
Yeah, which is like he's focusing his energy onto the person itself, not the wall. So when you say, well, these ninja aren't doing more than wall-level things, that would just be your burden to prove. I would like to see reason as to why these Jonin-level ninja, who are stated to be above Chunin, who, like I said again, who have high feats above city block level, would be wall-level things.
So yeah, the city block level thing.
And again, remember, he's crossing between scaling with jutsu versus scaling with stats. His thing was, oh, well, I'd be talking about their stats. But now he's talking about jutsu as well, which I don't mind because I have to knock that tree down anyway. I got to cut that tree down anyway.
Press that again because, again, Sasuke vaporizing the ground with that AoE of Fireball is not a city block level AP feat. That is a city block level. I'm sorry, that's not even, yeah, no, that is a total energy city block level feat. That's not AP though. If you do the joules per centimeter cube, if like energy condensation, God damn it. I believe you. I have the calc somewhere as well. Get the AP, joule per centimeter cube, joule per cubic centimeter. If you take that attack and divide all of the energy around the volume of that attack, you will not get city block level AP. It will be much lower than that. But hold up. I got you. You can show me that all you want, right? But that's just the first point. That would also be assuming that Sasuke's physical scale to that attack, which I don't believe you think he does. So to say that Sasuke can do a city block level jutsu still wouldn't necessitate him having city block level or higher than wall level striking force. That'd be the second thing.
He's able to, him being able to output that amount of chakra, like I said before with the Hamato example, if he's able to output that amount of chakra without like convulsing inside, that proves that you do scale to it.
See, I don't think we got
as much as you want, you still scale to it as long as you're able to handle that charging attack.
I don't think we got to a clear, definite thing on that. We kind of switched around to a lot of places. But here's one thing. So we understand that chakra is the energy that exists within their body. Number one, we understand when they're performing jutsu, the chakra goes through a process of being molded and processed, and then it becomes the attack, right? So number one, Sasuke doesn't have a fireball jutsu or chidori existing in his body at all times. He's not tanking that. He's taking, if you want to say it like that, his raw base energy. Then that energy then goes through a process to become the ninjutsu that he's going to expel from his body. Thirdly, when he's doing this fireball jutsu, I would ask you, what is the count?
What's funny is I didn't realize, even when I was saying this, the energy does go through a condension of sorts. It goes through like when you mold, it's to put together, it's to form. So it's inherently going through a process of condension, which inherently makes it stronger than what it was previously as well.
Force he's taking from it, because it's not coming out of his mouth, it's not hitting his lips, it's just outside his body. So whatever ambient heat he'd be taking would be that, right? But it's still not even him taking the fireball jutsu itself. So those are 3 points that I would like either maybe addressed or responded to.
I need to repeat the first one. But yeah. So with the whole what's it called again? Actually, can you repeat like the first one real quick? I forgot a little bit.
Yeah. You're good.
So yeah,
number one.
This was the moment I was talking about. I should have not been thinking so much, and I'll say this. I should have been more focused on the points I was saying rather than trying to anticipate what he might say next. Because when he asked me to repeat it, I was like, "Nigga, you ain't listening to me, bro. I'm not a record player." Come on. So that was kind of funny, but it allowed him to kind of finagle out of that whole triage of questions I had. Let's hear them again real quick. And his inability to answer actually made me fuck up repeating the question.
Sasuke doesn't have a fireball jutsu or chidori existing in his body at all times. He's not tanking that. He's taking, if you want to say it like that, his raw base energy. Then that energy then goes through a process to become the ninjutsu that he's going to expel from his body. Thirdly, when he's doing this fireball jutsu, I would ask you, what is the counter force he's taking from it? Because it's not coming out of his mouth, it's not hitting his lips, it's just outside his body. So whatever ambient heat he'd be taking would be that, right? But it's still not even him taking the fireball jutsu itself. So those are 3 points.
So yeah, we have jutsu doesn't scale to physicals, output or internals isn't your raw resting chakra, and then we have counter force. Those were the 3 points that I stated that I completely fucking forgot.
I would like either maybe addressed or responded
to. I need to repeat the first one. But yeah. So with the whole what's it called again? Actually, can you repeat the first one real quick? I forgot a little bit.
Yeah. You're good. Number one, Sasuke's technique doesn't scale to his physical stats. You mentioned city block level off of a fireball jutsu. He would need to demonstrate that he can. Well, we can ask this: why put that much chakra into your technique if you could hit that hard? Sasuke had no problem doing the fireball jutsu to Kakashi. Kakashi had no problem dodging it, but when it comes to Sasuke's physicals, Kakashi,
okay.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I understand.
And then there were like 2 points.
And so this was also my fault too, because he asked me to repeat it, which means he didn't understand everything or he didn't get everything. So what I do is I do repeat the first point, but then I throw in an example. I throw in something extra, something that he can attack. And this is what he goes to attack, which is why I sit there like, I'm confused on why you answered that and not the other two things I asked you to respond to, which had to do with the counter force and the jutsu going through a process. But that's my fault. That's my fault. Because I didn't have to throw this little thing in there about Sasuke demonstrating he can do this versus this. I didn't have to throw it in there, but I didn't know. I also didn't think he would attack it either.
The reason why some things take more chakra, but this might possibly sound the same, because they're like with different jutsu, you just have like
off of a fireball jutsu. He would need to demonstrate that he can. Well, we can ask this: why put that much chakra into your technique if you could hit that hard? Sasuke had no problem doing the fireball jutsu to Kakashi. Kakashi had no problem dodging it, but when it comes to Sasuke's physicals, Kakashi,
okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I understand now.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I understand.
And then there were like
so the reason why some things take more chakra, but despite make possibly scaling the same, is because they're like with different jutsu, you just have like different outputs.
Of course,
that is more useful for a fight.
Right.
It's like for example, the fireball jutsu, assuming it's the same like strength as like the punch, right? The reason why you would rather use a fireball jutsu when they fight is because it's going to burn your opponent. It could still be the same strength, right? So when you say, well, why didn't you just do this in a punch? Doesn't really prove that they don't.
See, but that's not true. Because we understand that the fireball jutsu has more total energy. And if you have more total energy in a smaller volume, you have a multiplicatively stronger attack. By far. If Sasuke took the total energy of his fireball and he put it to his fist, he would be one-shotting people. This is what I'm missing. That's what I'm missing in this conversation. But yeah, live debating is a little bit different than, just talking to the screen. So there's that.
It just proves that other attacks, despite having a scalable factor, just simply have an unscalable factor, which is like burning someone alive, like the Amaterasu, for example.
Right. Yeah. And I brought that up not to make it a point. That was more of a side point, right? The actual point though was
that's why
if we're trying to.
So yeah, that's the whole. Like I think that's part of the reason. Also, I wanted him to go back to the thing. That was a side point. It wasn't really the whole thing, but
For things that scale these people, we want to look for the things that are actually shown, right? I don't know if that was, the example you just attacked. I'm not really going to say that was an actual example. Yes, it's something that I would say, but it's not an actual example I was using. The other thing was the chakra going through. Yeah.
Sorry, were we not referring to the fireball there?
No. We of course were referring to the fireball, but the main point of it was that you were using the fireball to establish he has a city block level AP, right? The first thing I did was break down that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a calc itself, right? So what we do is that like we obviously not extra work. You've already described it before, but basically what he did against Kakashi is that like he charged up his fireball jutsu, and then afterwards he like blew at the ground, right? And we see that like there's smoke coming from it in vapor, implying it's vaporization. Mm-hmm. So in order to get the joules per cubic centimeter, the reason say like.
Okay, that was cool.
Hey, Mark. Hi, I'm Brittany. Before I meet with.
Sorry. I'm gonna say take the volume in cube, but the cube is the volume. What am I talking about? They obviously take the volume with the centimeters cube. And since the centimeters cube still applies to the formula, we still get city block level feet from the joules. I can send you the link if you want. Your YouTube chat, so you can check it out.
Yeah, please. Let me look at it. I'll take a look at it.
That's my interpretation of it.
Because let me ask. So
Ab-Stract.
That calc is taking into that the size of the fireball. It's taking the size of the fireball, spreading the total energy across the volume of the fireball, and then it's still saying it's city block level.
Just question if he even like calcs like the size of the fireball. I don't think they need to calc the size of the fireball in order to prove that. I think because again, when you were talking about the size itself and like how much it takes, I think the fireball jutsu just itself is an energy, right? And it just spreads and it completely vaporizes it. So in that amount of time, it will be city block.
Well, it's like we would need the size. The size is a necessary thing to get AP.
Does anyone know? Well, I just answered the question. Never mind.
The only thing you need for size in this reference calc would just be like the size of the crater itself. You wouldn't need the size of the fireball. Because I can make a fireball a big size, but the crater could be almost nothing. So it doesn't matter what the size is. It just matters what the output. I can't speak today. What matters is like
I got you.
What happens. What happens is like whatever you're affecting, like how it looks. If it looks like it's fragmented, you get a fragment. If it looks like it's vaporized, you get a vaporize. Simple as that.
But so like that's kind of weird to me though, bro. You're saying the size doesn't matter. It's not needed in the calc. That's strange because like for example, if we have a feat that's off panel and we just see a crater, how are we to judge the AP off of it? How are we going to get AP if we don't know the size of the attack, the volume of the attack?
And so here's the thing. He's in a situation where he does in fact have the size of the attack, but they're not taking into account the attack. So my question is an extremely valid and good question. If there's an off-panel feat and we just see destruction, how the hell are we going to get AP from it? What are we supposed to assume? Was it a kick, a punch? Was it an energy blast? Was it a laser beam? How are we going to get AP for this? How could you possibly get AP from a feat that doesn't have the showing of the attack involved. So yeah, in his answer, like I understand why he answered the way he did, or he answers the way he does, but it still doesn't answer the question. I don't understand. What's good, Il? How you doing, bro?
You see what the attack does to the ground and compare the creator from before and after.
We don't know the attack though. That's what I'm saying. It was off panel. We don't know the attack.
Well, we know what the attack is, so we know, like, from the induction, if it's a fireball jutsu, we'd likely say it's vaporization. We'd say, oh, since there's vapor coming out, we say vaporization. We don't need to see the exact attack to know what happens. So if, like, something's off panel and stated, he didn't attack, right? But, like, they say this happened in just, like, a split second, then we would still have the same amount of, like, results for the calc. The only pixels you need to calc is, like, the diameter for the crater and, like, the ang sizing for Sasuke.
Okay, you can definitely send it over. Hey, real quick. Okay, I appreciate that. You said that's in the YouTube chat?
I'm gonna,
You found my YouTube that fast. You the man. I fuck with that.
No, I've been had it.
Let's go, my boy. Real quick, Luna Ursa, you can get in here if you want to.
Okay, before Luna Ursa goes, because we're gonna review that as well. Real quick, we're just going to take a look at that. We're gonna take a look at that. So, the question is, how potent is Sasuke's fireball? Right? Let's first go to his calc. Let's check that out. Oh wait, I already had it up. Don't know why I clicked the link. I'm nicer than that. Don't know why I clicked the link. So this is the link he sent me, okay? And I'm showing you guys the link to let you know where I got all the numbers on the screen from. This is literally the link that he sent me. Sasuke's fireball, September 3rd, 2022, right? The math, he has Sasuke's height at 152 centimeters or 1.5 meters. Sasuke himself to his shoulder. So he has the pixel calcs and stuff, right? Cool. So y'all know where I'm getting this stuff from. Now, the question is, how potent is Sasuke's fireball? Let's zoom in for this. So, looking over the calc, and in fact, it might be worth it to actually just look at the calc real quick. We'll do it over here, and then we'll go back. Now, look at the panels shown. The panels shown, and after looking at this, I realized why exactly he didn't, say the fireball size and anything like that. When I was saying when I was saying joules per cubic centimeter spread across the fireball, he wasn't biting. He wasn't responsive to it. He's like, well, you don't really need it. Okay, cool. I understand why he was doing that now, because they don't use the fireball in this. They don't use it at all. So using the spherical cap formula, they get the volume of the crater, which they have at this number right here. This is the volume of the crater. It says, considering this is a fireball, we can use vaporization, which has a value of 25,000 joules per cubic centimeter. I'm nice. I do this in real time. I didn't have anything in front of me when I said the vaporization rock should be this much. I didn't have anything in front of me. I'm nice. Anyways, let's get back to it. So, he's taking the crater's vaporization, or vaporization of this crater, the length, the width, all that stuff, and he's taking the value to vaporize rock. Put both of those things together, and you get this number right here, which is city block level. Cool. Let's go back to the thingy. So, this calc utilizes the volume of destruction and type of destruction to get AP. The reason this is in quotes is because this is, of course, not AP. This is total energy, which I thought he was talking about the entire time. Even when he said joules per cubic centimeter, I'm like, you're probably talking about total energy, but I'll hear you out. And the reason he thought he was probably talking about joules per cubic centimeter is because within the value to vaporize rock, they do use joules per cubic centimeter to vaporize rock. But that's not AP. That's a value to vaporize a material, right? But that's not the AP of the attack. Two different things. So Seb wasn't lying or anything, and he wasn't being disingenuous. This was probably a genuine mistake of him seeing JCC and me referencing JCC, but him not putting together that I'm talking about the joules per cubic centimeter of the attack itself, not the result of the attack. Or, I'm sorry, not the DC. Right? Two different things. So that's number one. He wasn't being dishonest. He was not lying. It was likely a genuine mistake of him confusing or not knowing that the joules per cubic centimeter I was referring to was into the volume of the entire attack. That's probably what it was. So it won't hold that against them. It's absolutely fine. I don't expect people to understand AP on this level anyway. I came into the conversation knowing this, right? So it's no problem. Anyways, though, the calc utilizes the volume of destruction and type of destruction to get total energy, not AP. The problem, this only tells half the story. Without actually seeing the attack, we can't derive an accurate assessment of potency. If we don't know what did the destruction or the AoE of the destruction, the AP could be a lot higher than the shown destruction or vastly, vastly weaker than the shown destruction. Right? So, we break that down. This is just basically what his calc was saying. It's because we're missing the attack that AP is impossible to derive. One could only guess as to the size of the attack that caused this crater. Now, like I said, we actually have the fireball picture, so we know how big it is. But if we go off of his logic for every attack, then you would be assuming that we can get the AP of an attack just by the results of the DC. No, that's not how it works. We need to understand how big the attack was. We need to understand the AoE, what range it covered. We need to understand all these things to get the accurate AP of the attack. So, right? And let me show you guys how important that is, right? So the city block, it's city block level total energy. Cool. Imagine this now. Imagine that Don Kanochi's little spiritual orb ball here caused Sasuke's crater. Imagine that, right? Cool. Well, no surprise, the damn thing is about a centimeter anyway. So that would just be the total energy of the damn thing over the centimeter of Don Kanochi's attack. And shout out to Dr. Scrangle because he had this already up on his website. So I really just pulled this and just took the centimeters and put the total energy over it. And we get an AP of city block level. No surprise there either. Like I said, Don Kanochi's attack is small enough to where it's going to carry most of the joules. Right? So this is how the attack can affect the AP. This is a direct showing of how the size of an attack can affect the AP. Because now, instead of this being the total energy of the attack, Don Kanochi's little ball here carries the AP of that attack. So the total energy over here has become the AP simply because it's been reduced. It's going through condension. I love that word now. It's such a convenient word. His attack has gone through condension. It's been condensed, right? Cool. Now let's look at an accurate calc. Let's look at an accurate calc. But what if it's as big as Sasuke's fireball? So we saw how big it was, and we saw the AP, if it was the size of Don Kanochi's thing. What if it's as big as the actual fireball, though? What does that look like? I should have that up too. Again, shout out to Dr. Strangle. He's already did this on his page, right? I won't bore you guys with everything, but look how big that fucking fireball is. Look at it. Look at it in comparison to Sasuke. It's huge, ginormous. So when I said if Sasuke put the total energy of his fireball into his fist, he would be hitting multiplicatively times harder. That is a fact because the energy would be condensed so. Right? So the volume of the fireball is 562 centimeters. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Okay. What was I reading? Was that the length? That was probably the length. Okay. Yeah, that was probably the length. The volume of the fireball is this number right here. centimeters cubed. That's the volume of the fireball. Now, Dr. Strangle says the majority of the destruction is fragmentation. Why is it fragmentation? Well, because when he shoots the fireball, most of the earth is lifted up. Most of the ground is kicked up, ripped apart, right? That's why he said most of the damage is fragmentation. Well, with a little bit of smoke emitting from the center, what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that the most concentrated areas of heat, which is important, is in the center. If the fireball hit the same around everywhere, then the whole thing would be smoking and smoldering. It wasn't. It was only the center, which tells us that's where most of the power was focused, at the center of it. Again, this is why AP is important. So, volume at this number, assuming it could destroy a radius of stone equal to it instead of all its energy being wasted, right? So, this is Dr. Strangle basically saying, if the fireball was encased in rock, right, this would be the total energy of it. This number right here. If the fireball was encased in rock, he says, assuming it could destroy a radius of stone equal to it instead of all its energy being wasted, because Sasuke did waste a lot of its energy, because most of it was not hitting the ground, it would be 8 joules of fragmentation to the volume. Multiply those, and you would get small building level destructive capacity. That's assuming, which is fine. You can do that. I don't mind doing that. Then he goes on. Hold up. Yeah, or small building level destructive capacity. He goes on to say, where is it? Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. So then he focuses on this point right here. Now this is something that I wouldn't do, nor do you have to do. Right? This is the smallest point of Sasuke's fireball jutsu. And this is the point where he's going to get another AP for it, basically. So he gets the numbers for it, crunches the numbers, and it comes out the small building level potency. And yeah, he says this is the attack potency at the smallest point right in front of Sasuke, also assuming the attack comes out all at once. Otherwise, it would be the 8 joules per cubic centimeter converted into whatchamacallit. And it turns out to be a street level attack. So basically what Dr. Strangle is saying here, if we're not taking these assumptions, if we're not factoring in the smallest point of his attack right here, this attack right here is street level. This attack is street level. Generous, small building. But it's a street level attack. Without all the assumptions and graciousness, this is a street level attack. So yeah. This is why the volume of the attack is important. Seb, if you watch this is exactly why the volume of attack is important. Right? Because if Sasuke's fireball were to cause that, and let's go back here. If Sasuke's fireball were like a lot smaller and it caused that, you would be underrating the feat. You know that, right? Because if the fireball's smaller than what the calc shows via destruction, then you would necessarily be making it weaker, because a smaller fireball is going to have more energy compacted into it. Condension is going to happen. But if you're just going off of the DC in which you show, well then guess what? You've unironically nerfed that feat. Just like how if Sasuke's fireball was the size of Don Kanochi's energy blast here, you would be nerfing the feat. You would be saying that the total energy is this, not the AP, which is bad. Remember, your total energy, we just found out, is around street level to building level total energy. That's what AP. We just found out that attack is street level to building level AP, but getting this, it's total energy. Because all we got was the numbers to vaporize rock and the diameter radius and volume of the circle. So that's how we had our city block level total energy. But you would most certainly be downplaying the feat. All right, cool. I hope y'all like that. I hope y'all enjoyed that. This is why I was late to the stream, by the way. I was setting this up. But yeah. And I still got my Edelard and Tim the Durability guy. I'm probably going to have to go over that again when I do TikTok, honestly. TikTok doesn't know what the fuck they talking about. Let's get back to Lunarsa. Eat time.
I was going to try to...
I'll meet up real quick. And Seb, real quick, Seb, this is not to disrespect our conversation. We can definitely get back to that, but she also wanted to say something, so I want to let her get in some words. I want to, hold the mic and stuff like that.
That's no.
Inside! What's going on? Is that a dinosaur?
The end of Oak Street, now playing.
Hello, I got places to be.
Like to bridge the gap. When we talk about attack potency in the Ab-Stract community, the definition that we use is predicated on the idea that the energy, like, yes, is condensed, but it's about the area, it's about the portion. How do I put it? It's hard to describe Ab-Stract. It's like
the interaction volume, I think, is what you're going
using
for.
your visual metaphor with Tim the Durability Man. The interaction point has to be described in a way that allows us to understand how much energy is in that amount, is in that cubic centimeter, right? And so when you say it's city block level, what I want to know is, are you saying that it's city block level energy in 1 centimeter cubed? Or are you saying...
And the thing is this, right? I'm so glad she clarified that, because when you're doing this for a long time, even to people who don't understand it, you'll get caught up in explaining it like you know what the fuck they... Like, you'll get caught up in explaining it like the person's just going to get what you're saying. So when she said that, I was like, yeah, maybe he doesn't see it like that. Because my mind automatically goes to that's what I'm talking about. But I didn't explain it like that either. Because he said JCC, I was like, well, okay, JCC, so you know about cubic centimeters then. Right? So when I'm saying city block level AP, it can't be that. I'm like, no, we can't be getting the same numbers. That's why I got to see the calc. So I was so glad when she came on and is like, yeah, you are you saying within 1 cubic centimeter it is city block level AP? Are you saying that? That was a very good clarification.
It's city block level total energy, because you did mention also that it was joules per second.
No, I didn't.
By some sort of slip. I don't know if that's what you meant to say,
so it's like CC. Yeah, it was joules CC.
Joules CC. So when you say joules CC, what I hear is how much energy is packed in a centimeter, a cubic centimeter, right? Because if we reduce joules CC down to 1, the value is 1 on both sides. It's 1 joule, or it's whatever joules per 1 centimeter to the lowest smallest value,
Facts.
Right? So you're saying that in your calc that it is city block level energy condensed into 1 centimeter.
So yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
It takes into
All
account
right.
that,
I gotta look at the calc.
Not the diameter of the.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What it does is it counts the I don't think it's, but what it does is it counts the diameter.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I was saying that's interesting.
No problem. So the calc itself, right, takes the diameter of the crater, right? So what they do is that, like, they take the pixels and they divide the value, so they can get a singular cubic centimeter. What they do is that they take Sasuke's height, so they can get his centimeters and compare it to the crater itself with Aang's sizing. So they get the cubic centimeters of the crater, and then they divide the values, and then they get the joules, right? But again, even if we were to divide values, like, hypothetically speaking, if we divide it, like, I'd assume 180. I haven't looked at the calc in a while. Well, not in a while. I just looked at it, but I don't remember the exact values from just a second ago. If we divided it by a large amount, I still think it wouldn't even be like lower than wall level if we were to assume that.
Yes.
Even so, extended from the point, I still think Jonins are definitely higher than wall level.
Well, okay. Well, I just wanted to get the clarification on what you meant by joules per centimeter cubed being city block level, because that would imply that the total energy of the attack is way higher than city block level, because there's so much more joules per centimeter cubed of that fireball that exists.
Correct. For example, just to go back to this, and this is just a hypothetical, right? I'm not even going to do anything. What she just said is extremely important. If you're saying that is the joules per cubic centimeter of the attack, and each attack carries city block level, each joule carries city block level thing. Take Don Kanoji's thing, right? This thing is 1.7074 centimeters. It has city block level AP due to how small it is. Imagine all these made up. Oh yeah, I gotta go over here. Should be this one. Imagine all those made up Sasuke's fireball. How many times do you think How many times do you think Don Kanochi's attack can fit into Sasuke's fireball? About 2,000 times? Let's do this. We'll do it real quick. This number times 2,000. Alright. What is this number by 2,000? Paste. Then tell me the AP tier. So, on a low ball, right? I'm assuming Don Kanochi's attack can fit into Sasuke's fireball 2,000 times with the same AP as the fireball's total energy. That's what we're doing right now. Because what she just said is extremely important. It has merit. It needs to be analyzed. Okay, my thing is clearly tripping. All right. Oh, no, not dividing, you stupid thing. Okay, it messed up. It said dividing. No, multiply. Making me look bad. Okay, yeah. Oh, no, did I not tell it to multiply? It might be me. What is this number? Yeah, I didn't tell it to multiply. That's hilarious. It's my fault. Oh, there we go. Sounds about right. Original AP, this number right here. Multiplied by 2,000. That's the amount of times that we're estimating Don Kanochi's little ball can fit into Sasuke's fireball. New AP. Town level. So, town level. That's what would be, so like, for example, and this goes back into Eterad, but I'm not even going to do all that. I think we get the point. I think we get the point.
And if one part of it is city block level, then all of it is total big number.
That's true.
And so that would mean that the fucking total joules for Sasuke's fireball in your calc is crazy. And I'm not saying that's untrue. We just have never. I personally have never, and maybe Ab-Stract has never encountered.
I mean, there's wild calcs for everything. There's even like, fun fact, there's a speed calc for Gaara that gets him like massively times faster than light. And the reason why is because when the Red Kage kicks at Sasuke, when Sasuke uses his Amaterasu, we see in panels that like it's like pixels of differences. Like we see the soul of Red Kage go like so unbelievably close that like the distance between Gaara and the time it took for the sand to reach the intersection would have been at blazing fucking speeds, right? Like there's just really small things that, let's be honest, the author probably didn't intend, but we still use because again, it's just what the series is showing to us.
Right. Well, to talk about that, I wanted to get into the idea that there's different like metas of scaling for.
You, just you, building your app
Are you sure, bro?
on base 44.
You know what? How about this? Before we get too far in her conversation, we'll do this a part 2 because it is 9:30 and I'm getting texts that I need to come to bed. Or I'm getting thoughts, I should say. Stares and stuff. So we'll stop it here for tonight, guys. I need to get with Shonen Cone because me and him are supposed to be going live on TikTok tomorrow watching Bleach. Make sure to tune in for that. We'll be going live on Twitch together. That should be really, really fun. But yeah, this was fun, guys. Thank you for joining me. You know, can't wait till the next TikTok live conversation. Make sure you pull up. Oh yeah, Tay. I'm going to read the comments on the next one. We'll actually start by reading the comments since your comments. Well, no. We'll do the comments when they come up, probably. I'll write them down. It's going to be better when they come up because I don't want to bounce around throughout the whole video. But all right, guys, let me end it here. This was fun. Like I said, Twitch tomorrow. We're watching Bleach. Should be me and Shonen Cone. But you beautiful people, take it easy. This is your boy Ab-Stract. This is the Ab-Stract section. We out. Oh, my screen is so small. Has it been that small the entire time?